And one of the best things for me is that I now get to do all the best parts of the military, like get to see all the cool gunfights and helicopters and whatever, and not having to go through all the shitty phases, but still having that same kind of mentality. Like when they're going on a patrol and we're filming them, we'll have to also go on that patrol. And we're just not in a car beside them, but no, we're actually in the deep snow with the heavy camera that weighs the same as a machine gun. So it's kind of in my mind, like, I never give up on that. Like, I still have to be able to serve and be in that, like, kind of soldier mindset.
This video is brought to you by Grey Fox Strategic, Carcajou Tactical, Vortex Canada, Azimuth Collective, and GameStrat. For 10% off your next purchase with Grey Fox Strategic or Carcajou Tactical, use code DA10.
And then
Something's happening.
Oh, wait.
Hey, let's go.
I needed to literally delete phone link software from my computer completely.
Jesus Christ. I really appreciate you putting in so much work to make this happen.
Dude, I gotta hit the nuclear option. There we go.
Man, that's so funny.
Should we start from the beginning, or do you want to?
We can start from the beginning, and we'll do a good montage of all the tech issues we've run into throughout this process.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So, I discovered you. You popped up into my social media feed through the company 13th Heaven, which makes awesome gear. Normally, I'm wearing it, and I'm actually not right now, but they make awesome gear. And
I'm actually wearing them right now.
Hell yeah. The Ridge lines?
I got the recon pants right here.
Okay, quick sidebar. How do you like them?
They are the perfect pant for this job that you and I are doing.
Really?
I wore them for like almost 2 months in the Arctic, and they are phenomenal. I can't highly recommend them enough.
Amazing. I'm personally waiting for an OD green or a Ranger green to come out, just because at my work that's kind of our standard color. But I'm a fan of the Ridge lines. I have a number of pairs of them. I think they're the best pants. Like similarly, like if I'm doing something where I need to be kind of business casual almost, like it transfers over really, really well. So I found out about you through them. Picture popped up of you in what looked to be the Arctic, with an insane Sony rig. And so I was like, who is this guy? And I'm going to start following you. And through that, you had kind of an incredible journey, it seemed like. I've shot cold weather. I've shot hot weather. I've never shot in the Arctic. I've never had, like, your camera cage froze solid, which I've never seen before. So talk to me about that. We'll start here just because it was so crazy to follow along on your journey on that shoot.
Yeah. So we were shooting for this event called Griffin Tech Days. It's basically organized by the Finnish Special Forces community, and then it brings in like all the industry partners to kind of showcase some new technology. And that was arranged in Finland, in Kemijärvi, so above the Arctic Circle. And we got down to almost like minus 40 degrees, which is the same in using Canada Celsius, right? So in Fahrenheit and Celsius, they both meet at minus 40. So you can imagine, or international listeners can imagine how cold it gets. And so the strangest things started to happen because I'm from Finland. I film in the cold, but I don't typically film in that kind of cold.
I imagine, yeah.
But there was like issues like, well, obviously batteries is one thing. They all started to run out in like couple of hours. And I even run like those huge like 200 watt batteries on my camera, but they had like 4 hours of usable charge in them. It was crazy. And we have this like, I use the Ceremony K9 battery packs, even those, I have like the swappable batteries from Eneloop Pros.
Yep.
And those lasted for like 20 to 30 minutes. Like we had to swap them like all the time. It was crazy.
What was your access to power like out there? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but like in terms of recharging the V mounts and everything like that, did you have any access to power?
I got to send you a couple of pictures. So this is a huge issue for us. So we had some like EcoFlows. We had 2 of them in our trunk, and because they were getting frozen too. So then we had this kind of like a big bag that we lined up with like it wasn't aluminum, but it was some metallic like fabric.
Yep.
So we lined it with that, and then we threw some like 100 hand warmers in there, try to keep the EcoFlows warm. And we got pretty good at that, but then charging the frozen V mounts wasn't working. So new ones, I used the small rig. I have one right here, the X series,
yep.
Which is supposed to be like the triple weatherproof or something.
Yep.
These have like that they show you the temperature, like that's inside the battery. So I was always following that. And once it gets below 0 to freezing, then they stop charging in, or they stop taking like any power back in.
Gotcha.
So then our issue was also that while we kept our big batteries warm, we couldn't keep these warm, and then it was like a big cycle.
Dude.
But we could barely make it like through a day, swapping batteries like all the time and keeping some under our layers and trying to keep them warm. But it was tough. And what was even tougher was, like you noticed, my camera cage got like completely solid frozen.
Yeah.
And I remember I got some other pictures I can send you as well.
Please.
While we were doing like some stand-up interviews, while I was sitting like behind the camera, and like my breath instantly froze on the cage and on the monitor. So at some point it became like I had to frame everything, keep still, and then just start breathing.
Oh my God.
Away from the camera, because it was instantly freezing on the monitor. It was it was crazy.
How long were you out there for?
So we were in Kemijärvi for we were there for a week for this event, but right after that we started filming our own TV series in northern Norway and northern Finland, so at the same latitudes,
so
same weather.
So if you're not able, like barely able to charge batteries, are you offloading footage, or did you just bring enough cards to like wheel and deal?
Yeah, I just brought enough cards for the day. We did have a base camp that was a warm cabin, so we could do all the like charging during the night there. But during the days, we just kind of prayed that everything works, and everything didn't work. We broke a lot of stuff during that. And mind you, this is like expo. This is we weren't out like in the field, or we were, but like. This wasn't documented when we were like out in the field living in tents. We were like there for just from 6 o'clock to 5 p.m. and then we're out. Jeez. But still, we broke so much stuff.
So having gone through that, now you get a phone call. Hey, you're going back to do the same thing. What would you do differently? Would you rig anything differently? Like how would you prepare?
I was surprised because my rig got pretty heavy because I'm like using pretty big batteries, so I don't have to swap them so often. But I wore an easy rig on that shoe, just to make it easy. And surprisingly, that took the weather. Like there were 0 issues with easy rig.
Amazing.
So I'm pretty impressed by that. But I had, since my cage and my camera was completely frozen. The screw that was like EasyRig has this like ball joint that you screw on top of the camera. So that screw and its base got like completely broken and it like tore off.
Right.
Or like it led what do you call it?
The
like
threading?
The threading, yeah.
Yep.
So that completely broke. And then it was just like spinning in space.
Oh no.
But not coming out, not going any tighter, so it was just spinning in there. So then that was an interesting thing because we broke like the actual metal. Like easily could do it, but the mounting couldn't do it. So now I'm not really sure how I would do it next time. Maybe use a Cine saddle or something. But
did the Sony hold up? Like perform no issues?
So surprisingly, I got it right behind me. I'm shooting everything on the FX30 because that's where I started with I started my career on that camera, and that's the only camera I've brought, and I'm pretty confident to say this, that I don't think any other FX30 in the world has seen the life mine has.
I would agree.
Because I've taken it to some like crazy places, and surprisingly it held up everything. It was completely covered in snow. We took some like snowmobile rides with the Finnish soft guys.
Cool.
And we took him out to a frozen lake, and I've been through like jumping or like in helicopters and in boats and like wherever, and the FX30 just holds up. It's a beast.
It's so I used to I come from like a more sports background before I got into the military side of things, and so I did 4 seasons of pro football out here, and I had 2 FX3s and an FX30 that I would run on all the games. And I honestly, outside of the fact that it's not full frame, and you could argue maybe the low light isn't as good, it is such a capable camera. Like I just
100%.
If someone had one and was like, well, do I need to upgrade to an FX3? It's like, no. Like you're doing that. Yeah, it's Super 35. That's about it. The photo capabilities, maybe if you needed a better hybrid camera, maybe you want like burst shoot on an FX3, but that's it. Image for image, I think half of my favorite shots I've ever gotten are on that camera. Like, it's such a capable platform.
Oh yeah. And especially like, I get that you get like a difference in, well, the low light's one thing, which I agree. Sometimes filming military stuff, you kind of do need that low light capability. But I've shot like documentaries on that thing, and the ISO at 2500 is still really enough. Because once it gets like darker than that, then it becomes an issue that even you can't see. So then it's really hard to shoot if you can't even see what's happening. So. And the depth of field, but I usually use it like at f4 or something, just because I can't get that depth of field while we're filming like crazy action. And sometimes I've gotten a lot of comments about it, like, why is the image shaking? Why is it not focusing? I'm like, if you try to shoot like camouflaged guys running in the forest, it's bound to happen at some point.
Just a little bit. Are you a manual focus guy or an autofocus guy?
I'm an autofocus guy.
Yeah.
Like I still like, or like a hybrid. Like I still try to fix it with one hand. But yeah, I can't keep up if I have to use manual focus while doing the stuff that I'm doing.
That's fair. So we were talking before we were recording. I just switched. I shouldn't say switched. I added. I don't think there is any switching. Like, I'm primarily a Blackmagic shooter. So like right now I'm shooting on a 6K Pro. I love the image. But to your point, shooting any sort of run and gun with TAC teams, like we work with mostly municipal tactical units here, and chasing guys through shoot houses while manually focusing, it's not something that's like optimal by any stretch of the imagination. So I picked up an R5C, and it's not great autofocus, and it's okay low light, but the photo capabilities were kind of what sold me on the hybrid model. Just lights out photo capabilities, but having the ability to switch to autofocus and just not really stress while you're chasing guys and you don't really know what's happening. And again, I'm not shooting at 2.8 unless I absolutely need to. Like, if there's ample light, you're starting at 4, it's still going to look great. And you can even go deeper. Like, shooting sports, I was usually around 6.37 most of the time, like in broad daylight. Like, there's I think a big misperception or misconception that you need to be shooting wide open all the time and just stacking ND. And it's like, unless it's needed for the story you're trying to tell, it's just not necessary.
Yeah, no. I even like I rented out an FX6 for the TV series we're shooting right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I love the 1200 ISO, but even with that, like I even stepped it down to like you said, F6 or F7, just to keep up with the action that's happening, because there's so much going on. And now that we're doing TV, it's even more unforgiving than some YouTube videos or social media. So I had to be really careful.
And so how, you just alluded to, you went from one Arctic project to another. So talk to me, because that was a relatively long shoot that you were on for this TV show.
Yeah, that was, we were 20 days straight there. So basically, since the start of March, we flew there to northern Norway. And I can't give you too much details about the show yet.
Fair enough.
But I can talk about like all the behind the scenes of like how we were handling the production.
Yeah, let's nerd out.
Yeah. So we flew out there. We got a group of there's 3 videographers and then our hosts who are like in front of the camera, they have like their own cameras, like selfie cams.
Gotcha.
Actually, they use the DJI Osmo Pocket 3s for that.
Those are so solid.
Pretty crazy for me. Those are so solid, and which is, in my mind, is really crazy that you can shoot TV with them.
Right?
So.
It's nuts.
But yeah. And then we had a couple of FX6s and FX9, and then an A7 IV, I think.
Right on.
Or S4. I don't remember the Alpha Line numbers, but something like that. And yeah, we were out there for 20 days in a row shooting this TV series, and we were traveling like all over northern Norway and northern Finland, working with different military units.
Very cool.
And yeah, it was a really cool project. I can't wait to start talking about it more, but it's coming out next year, so we'll have to wait a little to get into the subject.
Do part 2 of the podcast when it comes out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
100%. So having now worked with the FX6, is that something you think you would go to, or the FX9 for that matter, which I love? I almost bought one earlier this year. I love that camera so much.
You did?
Yeah. So I had a weird, like, you know how it is, where you're like, I think I need a different camera, and then everything is good, and you're trying to check all of the boxes for every potential scenario, which is impossible. So I think I'm gonna go, because I'm doing a little more E&G work locally with like our fire department is one of my clients. So I think I'm gonna go C400 Mark II, probably next year. But man, I spent so much time looking at the FX9. I'm coming off of Sony, but I love that Sony image so much. And the autofocus is so good. The low light is so good.
I think for the weight, it's a little too much for what I do. Mm-hmm. The FX9, the FX6 is great, but I think it should have like more audio capabilities. Like I didn't really like the XLR handle or the little side handle it had.
Yep.
Because I remember reading online, I haven't used it before, but for this shoot, when I used it, a lot of people complained that it has like little give and like makes this rattling sound.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that it was that bad.
Like, so you found it like distracting, basically.
Yeah, it has a lot of give, and it like makes noise whenever you hit like the ends of the way it moves. So I didn't really like that, because I felt like I'm gonna break it at some point.
Right.
And then just thinking, since productions move into like tighter and tighter work crews, I think whatever the next camera is in the FX line needs to have more audio capabilities.
I agree.
Like if that has like even 3 audio inputs, so you could still use a shotgun mic plus 2 lavaliers, that would be perfect.
Be money.
And include an aux. Yeah. So
did you?
But yeah, before the.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
After you, sir.
Yeah, I was before the wait, you get used to it, and since like we were shooting with militaries, I wouldn't dare to bitch about carrying a camera, because those guys are carrying machine guns or whatever. It basically weighs the same, so I'm like, I'm not gonna shut up. That guy has an N-Law. It weighs much more than this, so I'll carry it on my shoulder happily.
I'm the same way with my boss. We'll like finish a course, and like he's running the course and I'm just filming the course, and like we'll get back to the hotel and I'm like, man, my back is fucking smoked. And then I like stop and I'm like, I didn't wear a plate carrier all day with like level 4 ballistic plates. I'm not carrying a carbine. It's just like, just got my camera in front of me, and like it's like, I'll shut up. Sorry.
Yeah. I had the exact same. Dude, we were filming last year with 20th Special Forces Group. They came out to Europe, and we shot a documentary with them, and I was contemplating, should I bring my Easy Rig, but then I thought those guys are gonna make fun of me, so I'm not gonna do that.
That's a real thing, dude. It's funny you say that. It is absolutely a real thing, where you're like, how am I going to be perceived when I'm on set with these guys? Because you gotta feel like you can hang. Like, it's a whole thing.
Oh yeah. And like even the way you dress, like the choices you make, like that's why I wear the 13/7s, not only because they are incredible pants.
Yes.
But also like people in the scene will be like, hey, you're bald, you're not just some nerdy camera guy, like who are you? And then, well, something for me, like, because I have so many tattoos, people always come up like, hey, why do you have long hair and tattoos and you're filming military stuff? You don't look like you belong here. Like, who are you? So there's all these kinds of things that you can use to your benefit to break the ice and kind of, especially when you're doing like documentaries and when you have to like really build a trust with the person you're filming.
Man,
so being a cool guy is at least like trying to be cool with them is very important.
That's really valuable advice for anyone trying to get into it, because it's a weird thing. So I'd be fascinated to hear your thoughts, because I do feel like you kind of have to walk a line where, and we have sort of similar roles insofar as like we're observers, like we're not there to be part of the training. So in your head, you're like, I don't want to get in anyone's way. Like that's always a concern for me, especially. So when we're doing CQB training, I'll be number 5 in the stack filming behind the guys. And so not getting in the way and trying to read the people in front of me is always top of mind. But it's that 15 minutes after load in where you're kind of getting settled and you're prepping everything, that it's like, you want to make a good impression. You don't want to seem like you're trying too hard, but you also don't want to not be yourself. And so for me, it's always like, as you said, you roll up with the gear. If you're in like full cries, or like Born Primitive is another one that I really like, automatically they're like, okay, well, he's wearing over $1,000 of gear, so he's serious about whatever he does. You lay out all your video shit. And for me, it's always like, I have a line of like 6 monsters that I'll put out, like, and it's like, this is my food for the day. Like, this is what's going to keep me going for the day. And I always get you're not actually going to drink all those, are you? It's like, oh, absolutely, yes. Before we wrap today, these will all be empty. And like, that's usually like a good icebreaker. But it is something that like, you have a very finite amount of time to build that trust. And that's, I think, one of the biggest things. Once you get that buy-in, it gets you 10 times further than anybody else.
Oh yeah, 100%. And speaking of monsters, yeah, I have this funny thing. I put on my Instagram story that I'm a professional side quester, because always, yeah, I'm like, even though I film for military stuff, I do all sorts of things in the music scene. Like I do music videos and events and weddings and photography and whatever.
Yep.
So then like you have to kind of know in each scene what really like gets to people, or like what they appreciate and what's going on with the trends. Not necessarily like in the ways of what you're going to produce for them, but like also like how they want to dress up, or like what's the new gear, and like what's happening in the scene and in your like that specific scene.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and clothing matters a lot. And then also, like me, for example, people also assort me with the white monster thing. So like I even had to buy 2 cases of it and fill my fridge and take a photo to Instagram. Like, hey, this is my diet. And people are like, hell yeah, man. And but that builds trust, and it's fun.
It does. It's so funny. We got an email from one of our clients 2 or 3 days ago, and the little like post note was a message to my boss about an upcoming course, and the post was like, P.S. Josh, stop drinking so many energy drinks. It's just like, I don't know this person. They're just like through like proxy client kind of thing, and they're just like watching enough online to be like, this guy's got a problem. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is how I survive right now.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you work freelance, sometimes the schedules can get super crazy. Like, for example, for the past 48 hours, I had a crazy train. I'm gonna say it. So my day started out, woke up. I have a home studio. I work here at home, and I was editing for like normal, 8 hours doing client stuff and whatever. Mm-hmm. And then we had scheduled to film an indie movie at night. So then I got to the studio at like 6. We drove to the location. We're there at like 8, and starting to get pretty late. We'll start shooting at like 9:30 or something. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, just we couldn't get the lighting how we wanted, and there was like some extra shots and some like confusion in the shoot.
Yep.
So we ended up shooting throughout all night. Basically, we ended at 6:30, and I started to like tear down stuff, and I was ready at like 7:30. So then that was like after an 8 hour workday, that was like 12 hours on a shoot. And then I sat at the couch at the location for like 2 hours. Then I woke up and like, oh shit, we need to get back here. So we drove back to Helsinki. I drove the car and we load out everything to the studio. And I'm like, okay, so I got a couple of hours before my next client and maybe I can take a shower and do something. But then when I check my watch, it's 1:40 and my client comes at 2.
Oh, God.
I was like, oh, shit. So I go straight back inside the studio. We have a photo shoot. And this client is like a clothing brand. And he had like 3 different, not some subcontractors, but like 3 different brands he makes clothing for. So that shoot ended up being like another 3 to 4 hours. And so then I'm like already closing in like... how many hours I've been awake? Like 30.
Oh man!
And then as soon as we finish with that, I start to head out. Another guy comes in the door who I booked a consultation with. And he's like, "Hey man, I have so many things to ask you about cameras and this and that." I'm like, "Oh
my God!"
So then I chat with that guy for another hour. Then it's like almost 6. I get back home. I have to go. I had a rental car, so I took it away. I had to take a train back. That took another 2 hours. Then I come home. I start doing backups. I did that for like 3 hours. Finished some dailies, and it ended up being 40-hour work shift, nonstop. Like, so there's a reason also why I have 50 monsters in my fridge, because sometimes it get crazy.
That's the longest day I've pulled. So I'm not sure how old you are. I'll be 40 this year, and I've topped out at my long days like that. Anything over 30 hours, I can't. Yeah. It's so tough. Like I had a shoot in Lithuania with my boss, and just the travel. We left like relatively early from Ottawa, and it ended up being like 36 to 40 hours. And we were on location filming like this onboarding for like all their media assets, like the intros and stuff like that for the show at the studio. And it was the first time ever in my, 15, 16 years of filming, I fell asleep while filming. I was sitting on the floor of the studio filming him, like, and I'm just doing BTS, like nothing primary camera or anything like that. And yeah. I was closing my eyes and I nodded off completely. And I was like, whoa, that was weird. That's never happened before. I was like, get my shit together. Like, what the fuck? And then it happened like 2 or 3 more times. And I had to go stand up at the back of the studio, stop filming, and just stand because I kept falling asleep while filming. I could not focus my eyes. So, man, I do not know how you do it. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I have that same thing. Like yesterday, if I sat down, I immediately start like dozing off. So I'm like, oh, I got to stand up and do something and walk around and, to keep myself awake. You can't fall asleep if you're walking.
And the worst thing is you do hit a point where then you have trouble falling asleep, where you kind of get silly and delirious. Yeah. And then it's the opposite effect where, we got to the hotel around, I want to say it was like midnight, like Lithuania time. And I'm just laying in bed, and call times at 7 a.m. You're just like, how the fuck can I not fall asleep now? Like, this does not make any sense. But, luckily, energy drink game out in Lithuania was pretty strong, so we made it work. Mm-hmm. So it was all right.
There we go.
All right. So I've completely butchered a chronological timeline of how you got to where you are. So circling back to how you got to where you are, how did you get into all this? Music, art, creation in general, because you have a lot of creative outlets, which is awesome, and you're good at all of them, which kind of pisses me off if I'm being totally honest. But how did you get into all this?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, like professionally, I haven't done it for too many years, like video and such. But like I started doing everything I do like as a kid. Like I loved listening to music. I was a very musical kid. I didn't play or sing back then, but like I was just very adventurous. And then so I was always interested in the arts. I remember like in high school I was very interested in art. And music still. I was kind of figuring out what I want to do with my life. And then once I was in high school, because in Finland we have conscription in the military.
Right.
So in high school, I remember they had this little like pamphlets, and one of them was for my rapid deployment force that I ended up taking. It's like this special training in military, which kind of prepares you for deployment life.
Gotcha.
And like operative peacekeeping operations and such. So I remember reading that pamphlet. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could do something crazy with my life, because I've come from like a very small town, like town of like 3,000 people.
Oh wow.
Very small. A lot of people don't have any dreams there, and I got bullied a lot for being like creative and being myself, you know. So yeah, just kind of, you know, I always like wanted to make. I had this like digital art. I used to do like Photoshop art, you know,
cool.
Create some like crazy fantasy worlds or whatever. I'd post them on my Facebook, and then I got beat up because it's embarrassing for some reason.
No
to
shit.
Do that and be yourself. Yeah.
Kids are the worst.
Like throughout my whole life. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I know. So like throughout my whole life, I've been doing it, but I never took it seriously because I got so much like pushback from it. But so then after high school, military came up, and I went to the rapid deployment course selection. I got in, I took that, and then I deployed immediately after that. I was in Lebanon for 8 months after that. Like
wow.
straight out of high school, straight to military, straight to deployment. I'm there. I'm being 20. My other friends are still back home working some summer jobs, and I'm there. And
what was that?
What got me through that? What got me through that deployment? So it was a peacekeeping operation, but what got me through that one was we had this one shack that was like our music shack, and we had like microphones and guitars and whatever.
Cool.
And I was just like practicing, you know, metal vocals in there. I was like
nice.
Blasting the volume so loud, I almost get hearing damage, and just screaming my lungs out.
Service related, mind you.
Yeah. Oh, totally. So even there, like I found military to be my thing. Like I loved every single second of it, but it had like a lot of shit also that comes with it. And I still found myself like going crazy because I didn't bring my laptop to that deployment. But like at some point when it's just started repeating itself, we'd go on patrols, doing our guard stuff, doing our daily basic stuff. I sensed in my brain like I have to do something creative, or else I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I have so much like creative. I need some kind of an outlet for it. I have so many ideas coming all the time. And then so music, was one thing. I learned to do like metal vocals, and I really practiced that like over there every week.
Awesome.
And then just like photography has been almost my thing. I've done like on a phone. Photography and video, and I always loved doing that. And then once I got out, it took me like a year to figure out what I want to do with my life. And then I found this one guy who does like freelance video also, who's like self-taught. And I thought, well, I could maybe do like a music video for my band that I was in back then. And that started it really. Once I did that video, I really started to think like, man, maybe what if I could do this like as a job? Like, what if I could like I get to be creative, I get to do like cool stuff, I get to be technical, because I'm such a nerd when it comes to technology. Like I've always been a tinkerer. You can kind of see my background's full of building radios right now. And
I have it in my notes to ask you about that, because your Instagram is like such a good follow. But just the amount of stuff you're into is so fascinating to me.
Yeah. We always say, or I always say, I'm undiagnosed but peer-reviewed, if you know what I mean.
I love that.
So that could be one leading cause for all of this.
Could be.
But so then I got into filmmaking, and then I realized like, man, I can combine like everything. Like, and combine my artistic styles. Like, I get to do music now. I get to produce our own music videos. I get to do cover art. I get to do all this technical stuff, and I just have to figure out how to run this as a job. And that was like the thing when it clicked for me. Like, wait, you can do art as like or like creative jobs as a career. So then I got into that, and then man, honestly, it feels like there is no other possible thing for me to do. Like I couldn't succeed in any other field except for this, because I get to do everything I'm interested in.
Yep.
And I find it so fascinating because a good friend of mine, actually, he's one of the hosts of Mighty Finland company that I also work for. I'll come to that in a bit, but he said to me that there's like 3 groups of people, or mainly 2, in this field. There's like the technical people who maybe know their way around cameras. They maybe know the technical stuff, but they are not like directors. They're not like creatives. They just can't really put art into their craft.
Yep.
And then there's the second group who are the artists who don't know how to use the technology. So then it kind of, they might be super creative, but their fallback is that they don't know how to use the tech and how to like really bring their ideas to life in the way that they should.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, there's like these unicorns who can do both and who will succeed in this field. And he described me as one, and I take it that I might be a unicorn.
Heck yeah.
In this field.
No, man, it sounds very cheesy and very cliche to be like it's living the dream, but it really is living the dream. Like the first episode of the podcast we did was a guy from Clandestine Media, Clay, and he and I talked about that, where it's like and I'm curious if you have the same thing where we have bad days as freelancers, as people who run our own business. We have bad days where we're like, what am I doing with my life? This was a terrible idea. I just need to go back to working a normal job. But then, like I was telling him, like I can always play out how that goes. And I know within a week, 2 weeks, like one, I'm not a huge fan of being told what to do. So that's a problem. But then it's as soon as like any sort of control or ability to do what is in your head is stripped away, it's like that's insanity for me. Like I would not be able to survive. Like I get anxious thinking about not being able to create something or get what's in my head out. So you're kind of stuck in a good way where it's like, well, this is what we have to do. Like I know if I stop working in military, I still get to mess around. Man, I did we have a women's soccer team here where I live in Ottawa, and I get a phone call where it's like, hey, do you want to run our media day and do all like the green screen stuff? And it's like, sure, like that sounds fun. Like that'll be awesome. It's like, I haven't done a media day in like a year. Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. You want to come film a burned down house with the fire department? It's like, yeah, sure, of course. Like I can tell that story, meet the people who experience this tragedy. It's like, and you get to tell that story. If you took that away from me, oh my God, I wouldn't be able to survive.
Oh yeah. Like you don't even, and especially for me, I don't know your background, but I'm like self-taught in this.
100%.
I don't have a
same deal.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
Yeah. So like for the like first years when you're doing this as a career, it's like getting into that mindset that this is actually your job, this is actually your responsibility, and you're actually getting paid to do all of this. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it feels like I'm only getting paid when I'm behind the camera, but like editing is not part of that deal, or the travel or the experiences or the people. But at some point when you start to figure out like, oh wait, all of this is included, right? Like the freedom, the ever-changing scenery, like there's not a single day that feels the same, really. Oh, and like all the crazy parts you get to do. Yeah, it's all part of the job. And once you kind of realize that, and then the freedom of like choosing the jobs you want to do, choosing how creative you get to be, getting to travel, choosing your own schedules, like that's when it like hits you like, oh man, yeah, I could never do anything else.
Man, it's the little things too. Like I'm not sure what you want to do in your life, but again, like I'm old, I'm 40, I've 4 kids. It's like I get to put my kids on the bus every day. I can take them off the bus most of the days. Like I see them all the time. Like the trade-offs there, though, as I'm sure you've experienced, is like you're gone a lot. Like for work is you do have to travel, and it's like, well, you're gone from home for 20 days, or like for me, I just did a shoot that was almost 5 weeks away from home where you're gone for Christmas, and it's like, but that gives me the freedom for the other 11 months out of the year to kind of do whatever you want. And so it is constantly a give and take, but the freedom that it does allow you and to be able to control your controllables is second to none.
Oh yeah. And I'm still fairly young. I'm 25.
Oh, dude.
So I still have like a, yeah, I know, I get that a lot.
That's awesome.
I have a lot of time to build, and I've like, for the longest time, I felt like I'm behind my peers. Like, doing this, starting a business this young, I started like when I was like 22 or something. So that feeling of like at first feeling like you're behind, but then eventually once things start to roll, it's, how would I describe it? Like you get to a point where I lost the idea. There we go.
Can I interject? Can I interject real quick?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's funny to me that you feel that way, where I started doing this professionally. I shouldn't say professionally, full time. Let's say full time. When I was 31, so it was 2015 was when it got to the point. So my previous career, I was like retail store manager. So I managed clothing stores because I love running businesses and like having a team. I don't know why. That was just my thing. Is like I was fascinated by the idea of running a business and being responsible for sales targets and key performance indicators. I'm a nerd for that shit. But it got to the point where working on the side, doing video all my evenings, weekends, sick days, holidays, everything, I was doing video work. And it reached a point where I had clients calling me during the day while I'm running my store, being like, hey, do you want to come do a shoot? We need you to do A, B, C, and D. And it was like, oh, I can't do both of these things anymore. Like there's too much demand on the other side. And I got offered a job on a TV show just editing the TV show as assistant editor to start. But I was 31 is when I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see what happens. And I was about to have my fourth kid. Don't ever recommend quitting a really well-paying job when you're about to have a kid for a job that pays like $1,500 a month, like dumbest shit ever. But I was super late to the game to be like, okay, let's try and make this work. And then it was like 6 or 7 years of like absolute utter failure and like scratching and like to make the bills, beg, borrow, and steal to pay rent and all that kind of shit. And now I'm lucky to be in a position where it's like, all right, we're fine. Like everything's going to be okay. But
yeah,
it was a late start. And it's funny because like I still feel, you go on social media and you see what 21-year-olds are doing right now, and you're like, man, am I fucking like way behind the 8 ball on this stuff? Do I need to up my game? And it's just like, just everyone's journey's a little different.
Yeah, that's the thing. And and I remember what you said about like traveling and stuff and having to do that like trade-off of your time. So like I'm still in my 20s, and I made that decision when I got out of the military. Like I'm gonna use my 20s. I go as hard as I can right now to build up everything. So I maybe in my 30s and 40s, and I can little take off the gas. But like I'm still young. I still have energy to do all-nighters and such. So fuck it. I'm going like 100% in. And that's what I've been doing also in like all of my hobbies that I do. Like even music. Like when I got asked to join the new band that I'm in right now, a little self-plug. We're called Roju. We do new metal.
Okay.
And
are you on Spotify yet? Can we go follow on Spotify?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. We released like a couple of new music videos, and they are directed by me. I couldn't shoot them because I'm in front of the lens this time.
Fair, yeah.
I had to hire a couple very talented videographers for that.
Right on.
But it's cool that I now get to like also delegate some parts of the job.
That's also a great thing.
People. So yeah, so that feels really great in the business, but even like that, I felt like if I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna half-ass it. Like I'm gonna give 110% even to that and see where it goes. And nothing. There's is it from a movie or is it like an actual quote from? Oh no. Is it Zero Dark 30 or what's the movie? Lone Survivor, when they do like the SEALs Creed.
Oh yeah, that's Lone Survivor.
And one part was everything in life worth doing is worth overdoing.
Yes.
Moderation is for cowards.
Yes.
I feel like that with everything I do.
Well, I think it's just it's indicative of your overall ethics. My boss has a saying when he's delivering like our onboarding for courses. Always do extra. Champions do extra. That's his thing, is champions do extra. And so and we'll joke because I'll be in our hotel room like editing stuff, and I'm just like, fuck, like I gotta do this, this, and this, and this, and he's like, yeah, but the video doesn't need that, and I'll just look at him, I go, champions do extra, and it's like putting that extra like 25 minutes of work into getting it perfect. It's like that's what other people aren't willing to do. Is they'd say, oh yeah, you know what, it's fine, send it out, no one will notice. That's the moment where you go, nah, fuck it, I'm gonna do this because everyone would stop here.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I 100% agree, and I am going to share this with the host at Mighty Finland, because they've told me that multiple times, and they're like, oh man, nobody ever but you could do such thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm making it in this field. Like, you know, it's the extra stuff. I got to tell you a quick story about that too.
Please.
Because it's a perfect, it encompasses that line perfectly. So a year ago in May, we were shooting this documentary with the 20th Special Forces Group. They came out to Latvia, and we were shooting it for the channel Mighty Finland, which is still on YouTube. That video got pretty popular. I think it's like almost at 300,000 views right now, which I'm really proud of. And I filmed the whole thing myself. So it was basically like one camera, except for like maybe like few shots from a B-roll camera we had. But it's like mainly one camera, one editor, one man production company, basically. And so they had this training day when they are jumping out of Chinooks into the Baltic Ocean.
Let's go.
They were training like the helocast and like the infill process for the mission. And so we were out there with them. That was like the first filming day, and I gotta say it's a pretty good filming day to get to fly in Chinooks and film.
It's a little bit
soft guys jump out of them.
Kind of awesome.
And to be fair, the best views were from the boat. Like, I love flying, but like sitting inside of a Chinook, it's not that exciting for filming. So I loved being on the boat when they just like flew right on top of us.
That's sick.
And so we got some crazy footage. I showed them to the guys. And then the platoon leader during the next night comes up to me and is like, hey, so our company command wants to kind of see some footage. Can you pull up some like photos or anything? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I put up this timeline on my computer, and it's funny what we were talking about earlier, like building that trust. Mm-hmm. With those guys, we were allowed to sit in their talk with our cameras and everything. And we were like, Are we allowed to be here? Are we allowed to film anything? And then like the commander looks around and is like, yeah, sure, that is a 100% classified, but other than that, yeah, go for it. Sick. So I'm editing this little video there in their talk.
Let's go.
And in my DaVinci, I put like a crazy show reel, but I didn't put any audio because I didn't have time to go through it, and I didn't have my headphones. So I sent that to them, and they're like, yeah, looks fucking amazing, but like, can you add music? Can you do something else? Like, yeah, sure, I'll go the extra mile.
Yep.
So then the exercise starts, and we are a day into filming. They do their exfil. They jump into the Baltic Ocean or Baltic Sea. They infiltrate Latvia in the scenario.
Yep.
We get to the safe house, and then in that safe house's floor, I'm still editing that little show reel. I'm like putting some like fake sound effects to it. I'm like honing in on the like I had to blur all their faces, and I'm like doing this crazy edit on the safe house floor. There's like plate carriers and bags like all over that place, and it was like a random civilian Airbnb, so we were like trying to be secretive. Amazing. Also,
that's the best,
so that the people who run it wouldn't find out. And I'm like editing there on the floor with my laptop, and we upload that to their servers in through like a Starlink.
Yep.
And then he's so then the platoon leader comes back, and he's like, yeah, our command loved it, and right now the SOC your command wants to see it. Like the top guy, I forgot his name, 2-star general. Someone's gonna correct me. But they said like, yeah, he would really like to see that video. Like, can you get it done by 6? So we'll send that out to him.
Okay.
And I'm there like on the floor editing still. I didn't have any headphones, so I had my like Peltors.
Oh my god.
We had like custom mix like Savox, which had like aux port.
Yep.
So I was using them as a headphone.
Oh my god. What's the sound quality like from an editing standpoint in Peltors?
Absolutely terrible.
That's
absolutely
what I thought.
Terrible.
Okay,
cool. but I was using that, and this is like pulling like on YouTube searching for like, okay, Chinook propeller sound, like trying to find something that matches, because all the audio I had to build from scratch, because I shoot slow-mo in S&Q, so it didn't have sound, so I had to like build everything up, and I'm making this like crazy edit, and we sent that out to the command, and they were super impressed by it. And I think it's those little moments, like even when everything's against you and it's not an optimal situation to do stuff like that, if you go out the extra mile and actually like, especially like in media, you see so much where people just stop there and say, this is good enough, fills all the boxes. But if you want to put that sauce in, if you want to sprinkle it with a little something extra, you gotta go do the extra mile, and you gotta do the extra, fine details, even if it's not optimal to do it. And if you can push that, it is almost every time guaranteed to open you some new doors because of that, because people are amazed by it. And when you give that wow effect, like, how did you do this so fast, or how did you make it look so great with like shitty options, or whatever, it's putting in that extra effort that really pushes you forward. But when you don't do it, then everything starts to feel this like mediocre, like you're not going forward.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree more. And it's funny because like almost on the opposite end of the spectrum from a timeline and delivery standpoint, one thing that I've stopped being shy about over the years is rushing something out for the sake of being first versus being best. And so, the only time I've ever got a talking to at my last work was statute of limitations is gone and I don't work there anymore, so I can say this, is I intentionally didn't deliver a video because it wasn't perfect. Like it was a storytelling piece about our city and the team and everything. It was a lot of elements, but it was missing something. And it was like, hey, this has got to go out this day. And I was like, okay. And then at day comes like, yeah, it's not ready. It's like, yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. Cause I was like, if I can just get this piece done and drop it in, and the shooting schedule wasn't aligning with the deadline, I was like, it's gonna be so much more impactful. It's like, yeah, we're not getting it out first, but it'll be better than whatever anyone else is gonna do in this space. You just gotta trust me. And then you shoot the element, you drop it in, you release it, and it does significantly better than the previous cut without that. And it's just like, hey, we're gonna be a little late on this, but it's gonna be so much more impactful because it's missing that sauce. If you can't get the sauce in time, but you're just like, you just got to trust me. Like, it's going to be better, but we got to wait 4 days.
Oh yeah. And especially like, I don't want to even get into like the social media algorithms and like what's worth, what's not.
Yeah.
But like that, cause sometimes, when you do deliver that, like meh, like okay stuff, when you get that out the door, people will forget it instantly. Like, it's like you almost have to go every time, like above and beyond for it to succeed or to make like an impact, even with like some people who see it. So I'm not even talking about like algorithms that you have to find trends or this and that. But even if the video doesn't perform, you're still making an impact to the people who actually see it and actually follow you. And that's where I think it's really important, because still, for the majority of the stuff we're doing, we're not like chasing numbers, and we're trying to like really affect people. And I think like in all this craziness with social media and how the world's going, and everybody says everything's oversaturated, I still think it's justified to go and do the extra stuff, even if it means you have to be a little slower on your delivery. I still think it's really important to still impact those people that do find it, because at the end of the day, that's like what storytelling is about, and that's what we're doing is about,
100%. And not to say like we're the authority on what'll be more impactful or not, but like you do learn your audience, and it's like, hey, like this just isn't there yet, but we can get it there, and like this is what that timeline looks like. But it's a difference of maybe 50% viewership or 50% impact. To your point, like numbers don't necessarily matter. Like I it's a running joke with anything I've ever cut that I'm like, this might be one of the best things I've ever done, will usually die a horrible death online and like gets no views. And then the shit I'm like, it's okay. It could have been better if I was able to do A, B, C, or D, will crush. And then I'm just in my head that I'm like, oh, they're seeing all of the things that like should have been done differently in hindsight. But it's those small interactions you get with people. It's like, hey, I saw this video, or the text you get where it's like, hey, that last video crushed. You're like, okay, we're fine. Like, you get too in your head about what is good at times or what will be viewed the most at times.
Yeah, 100%. And then also there's an interesting thing once you start building a name and start building like your portfolio and like whatever you produce, is that you have to also like upkeep that level of quality. Like people will think something's wrong with yours, like your level has declined if you don't deliver to that same level. Yep. And I found that to be a really problem for me, or not a problem, but like people expect a certain level of quality from my work too, and if I can't get to that level, I feel like I'm disappointed in myself, and then also other people will see like, is this really done by him? Like his quality's good, like what's wrong with him? Like maybe he's not that good or something. So there's this little stress to always like, if you're always improving and always climbing, then at some point your baseline is like right here, and every single you do has to be here.
Yep.
So that's kind of a stressful thing. But then what is a good thing, and what I think in this field especially is needed, that you need to be a problem solver, and you need to be a tech head to also survive. And that's why I have like so many interests. And like, for example, I'm building some radios right now. I'm doing like
tell me about this
project because our productions need to run like when we're filming military stuff, and we need to run behind the units, and we don't have communication out in the field. We still need to be proficient. We still need to film what we're filming, and we still need to have comms. But how are we going to do that? You just have to start problem solving. If you don't have money to buy expensive radios, you have to build them yourself. So I'm literally building radios now.
And like any normal person, you just decide, you know what, I'll just build them myself.
Yeah, because it's the fastest. I like, there's so much stuff behind the scenes people don't see, like for your success. Like for example, the new computer I just had to build.
Yeah.
Which is at the start of the podcast. We had some technical difficulties because I don't know if my ports aren't configured correctly, or.
But you got there.
If there's like, we got there. Now this is running smoothly. But there's so much like behind the scenes of like improving, and technology is really an enabler, and you really need have to, how do you say it? Like if you're the tech guy, or if you're like the camera guy, I'd say you must have that certain interest towards technology, so you know what options are out there, how you can like really push the limits of your gear to get where you need to be, and then also like how do you keep up with the increase in demand? Like I said, if you're like building all the time, your level or like your quality, your technology and your workflow have to stay with that same kind of pace. And that's when like improving your gear all the time, or searching for better options, or whatever becomes very important. So that's why you still have to be very technical, even if you are an artistic person. And so I'm building like mesh tactic networks right now because
which is crazy.
We want to get into that because like at the end of the day, it's just like 3D printing on some couple PCBs which are simple, and just flash it online, and like it's surprisingly easy. But you learn all kinds of skills when you have to be creative. Like for example, I have a NAS server right now, like Synology NAS, and I didn't want to use the normal domains on that because I wanted my like company name on there. So then suddenly I am sparring with like a paid version of ChatGPT. Like, how do I put a custom DNS on that? And that runs on Linux. So then I'm like learning coding. I'm learning like about DNS tunnels. I'm like learning about Tailscale and all kinds of crazy stuff just to make my deliveries a little smoother, because I don't want to use Google Drive. I want everything to be stored for myself. I don't want everything to be like locally hosted, because we work with such a huge files now.
For sure, yeah.
So I have to be an insane tech head behind the scenes just to make everything work, because we're scaling up and people are like, hey, can we send you these huge video files, like 100 gigabytes? And
oh, jeez,
we're like, sure. And then I have to figure out how to do that. And actually, wait, on which side is it? In my hat, they named me Q. I don't know if you can see it there.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if you watch James Bond, you know who Q is.
Of course, yeah.
I've gotten that title through that, and
amazing.
I'm proud to be Q, because I think this whatever this is, like the interest in like being techie is a required skill to survive in this space. So
there's so much you covered there that I agree with on the standards of content side, starting there. One thing I always talk to about my boss and with most clients, I got sat down to ask about gauging my interest in producing a documentary for a sports team. And I always talk about scalability. And, you know, when we started the Direct Action channel and the Direct Action podcast, I intentionally didn't want to go full tilt, insane podcast set, all these elements, all these different light configurations, camera configurations, multiple angles that I'm only going to cut to maybe twice, because I can't guarantee that we're going to be able to repeat that every single time, because it just might not make sense. And to your point earlier, it gives me nowhere to go. I can't scale the perfect podcast set, because then it's never going to change, or we're going to start removing elements and then it's going to become more simplistic. Like, I'd rather go in the opposite direction. With documentary production, you know, I'll generalize this conversation just for this sake, but it was like, hey, here's a potential budget, here's a potential deliverables, and they wanted like a four-part 30-minute documentary series. They were going to buy broadcast time, and you know, whatever the budget was, let's say $200,000. Great, cool. No storylines in place. Figure it out as we go. And I said, I was like, okay, but you know, the option to do one for a quarter of the price with no storyline gives you an ability to scale to 4 if it's successful, because what you're telling me is if it's not successful right out of the gate, you're never going to have this budget to do it again. And so then you've created this massive piece of content that people will eventually over time fall in love with, and then you stop doing it because you blew your wad first time out, where it's like, start small. It's like, it's okay to start small, and people go, man, we want more of this, and go, hey, we can do more now. We can scale this up to a 4-part or 6-part over time. But the idea, again, to be first and go all out, and if it's not immediately successful in this day and age of the algorithms and the view count, it's well, we can't do it again. And so now you've made this awesome piece of content and it can't go anywhere and you can't reproduce it. So to your point, like, finding that balance of good quality and it's duplicable is amazing. Like, that's a huge thing, because the worst thing you can do is release an amazing piece of content and be like, this is my new podcast, and then next week I'm on my cell phone in a hotel room with shitty sound. And people will be like, ooh, what just happened? Like, it's so hard to find that ground. But once you do, it's like you have to be locked in, which is why I think, not to go off on a tangent, which is why I think a lot of podcasts aren't successful after one episode, because they'll rent the studio, the mics, the lights and everything, and they go, shit, we can't afford this. Only 5 people listened to this last week, and they stop.
Oh yeah, man, that is such a great way to put it. And especially, people should be chasing the long term instead of the short term, and like, making an entrance cool, making it like working with tight budgets, I think is still one of my favorite things, because I get to be super creative. I actually get to do only the necessary decisions, and not go like all in. I want this and this and this and that, and our budget law this and that, and generally they are this and this priced. No, but when you're working with like a tighter budget and like want to start like somewhere realistically, not just like aim for the clouds at the first time, but like start building from where you actually are and what you are actually capable of doing. That is a very nice place to be, because then it really gives you this character, like, okay, so whatever happens, I'm not like, if we don't get the budget next time, we can still figure out something. And I think that mindset is a lot more worth in this day and age than just being like the old generalist who's done this field for like a long time, is like, okay, if we don't get $500,000 budget, we're not doing it at all. and I I hate that. And then also there's a funny. I started to talk about this a lot with my friends, but I posted a behind the scenes post about the first music video I directed for my own band, and I talked about sandcastles and hammers in that one. That's basically the title, and there's so much stuff that goes into this industry, and it's like whatever you and me are doing, like the hammers was to point at like marble statues. You know, you see like great marble statues that the artist may have chiseled for like years, and it's like a perfect idea. Like you have no time, you just chip away slowly and build it perfect, and it stays perfect and it doesn't crumble and whatever. And it's possible to do. You just feel like, what if I just chip away slowly and it will find itself and will be there. Like it will look perfect throughout time. But in reality, making something, making content, making anything creative is not, you don't start from that perfect idea. You start from building a sandcastle. You start by going to the beach and seeing, well, here's the sand, make something out of it. And you start building it. And if there's a big wave that comes, or if you don't know how to build a sandcastle, it will crumble.
Yep.
And the permanent state is not the perfect idea, but it's just like, it's like building a deck of cards, or like if it stays up and if it like comes into reality, that's very nice, but that's not like it will eventually come. Like there's so many people critiquing our stuff or be like, hey, why didn't you have this or why didn't you have that? And they're starting from the perfect idea, and like they have this perfect concept, this like perfect show or this perfect podcast, like you said, and like we'll do just this, when in reality you start from everything you have and the budget you work with, and you see how high you can build. And so it's more like building a sandcastle rather than just like, you know, chiseling away at the marble statue and it's going to stay perfect forever.
I love that. That's awesome.
So back in 2016, I was able to start working with Kydex, and the reason I wanted to start working with Kydex was because I was a left-handed shooter. Finding left-handed gear was extremely hard, so I just put two and two together, started working with Kydex, making left-handed holsters for myself. From there, quote-unquote, refined my process. Started making gear for buddies that were cops in military, and it literally snowballed from there.
Everything that we do is handmade by shooters for shooters, and you know there's a lot of other Kydex companies out there, and you know they are also for shooters by shooters. But we take the time and we care about what we do, and I think that shows in our products.
Like working here, this is our home. We brought it from home and we created a home. Our kids have worked here, so this is our home.
To backtrack to one of your earlier points about the importance of staying up on technology and things like that, and people not seeing the behind the scenes, and I'd be curious your thoughts too, is just how you assess how your last thing went and what you need to change to make it better. Like you were saying about comms being an issue when you're out on location, and so you're coming up with a solution to it, or the large file transfers. For us, we were running an NVG course, and it's like a 3-day NVG CQB course. with like 16 guys. So a lot of guys in an abandoned school. It was awesome. But
hell yeah,
my job is to film the training and the feedback sessions and all that stuff. And it's like, that's a lot of guys in a really complex space under nods. Like, how am I going to do that? And so we tried 2 different night vision rigs where I took a DJI Osmo 5 and 3D printed a connector to just a tube, like a PVS 14 tube. And it was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. And then we tried it on one of the 6K Pros with, again, PVS 14 tube. But then you were focusing the iris and then focusing the camera because there's no autofocus on the Blackmagic. And it was like, this is a problem. Like, this is not working. And so, you know, coming back and being like, all right, how do we work around this? Like, we only do maybe 2 or 3 night vision courses a year. So it's not a huge part of our business, but it was like hey, this is going to be an issue. And so it was troubleshooting where it's like, okay, what NVG mounts are out there? What is the technology that can improve our ability to record these training sessions? And so by the time this comes out, we'll have announced our partnership with a company here in Ottawa called GameStrat. And it's like a multi-camera system. It's all wireless and it hooks up to an iPad. And we put it in all the rooms, and it records all the CQB stuff, which is great, which we already have in place. But this has IR. And so it allows us to film all the night vision training just as we film all of our normal training. But it's figuring all that shit out to be like, oh, this is something that wasn't an issue before. Can we make this happen? Then making it happen and then rolling it out to your customers. And again, it's adding that extra layer where it's like, hey, like, we offered all this before, which was great. Now we can even offer this. And it's, you know, it's a business. It's a business. As fun as it is, and as you do kind of have to be on top of like, hey, what are the demands of this that'll put us just a little bit above everyone else out there? And man, like, the tech demands on that are crazy. And I don't think a lot of people know that, to your point. Like, it's kind of never ending.
Oh yeah. I mean, we kind of take a lot of principles from the military as well, because we all served in Mighty Finland when I'm filming like the military stuff. And we do like AIRs after every single shoot, and we're like very particular in the way that we move and not shoot guns, but move, shoot, and communicate.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
So it takes a lot of like thought and like really trying to hone in. Once you like find your workflows, I think you never should be complacent at the level you are, and there's always something you could do better. There's something always that you could do faster or easier. And I just think it's I always like try to figure out where I'm wasting most of my time, or like what's really annoying. I just reposted it on my Instagram today. There's like being a freelancer is buying new stuff all the time because the last job was annoying, and
that is the most relatable shit ever.
Yeah, like I needed a lot more horsepower on my computer, so I bought a new computer. We needed more space, so I started researching into NAS's like storage options, and how can we deliver to clients encrypted and still like make it password protected. How can we ingest huge files and when we still have to run everything on a budget and from a home studio? So, and like getting into 3D printing, I think like that was even, although I'm really interested about 3D printing and it's not that big in Finland, but I just had to become very interested about 3D printing to enable us to do like, for example, those NVG mounts. Actually, if you have that file, we'd really appreciate it, because we run into the same NVG filming issue a lot of the time.
Yeah, for sure. There's so, actually, you know what? Send me your address, like DM me your address. I have 8 of them. I'll send you a few. You can tell me what you think of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
They're great.
But I think it takes, even if it's not you, but you need your own queue to be part of your team, or like someone you can reach out to and like really spar with those different things. And then one of the things I really appreciate about the guys at Mighty Finland is that they're not tech heads in the same way I am, so they ask very much more simpler questions. And they say, like during our TV shoot, one thing that came up is that they started saying like technology has to be an enabler and it can't slow you down. Like that is an important thing.
Yeah, that's so true.
We were running time code on that production, and we had a lot of issues for some reason. We used the D80 Theos and then the D80 time code boxes, but we had some like serious issues with those. And then one of our videographers was really frustrated because it didn't really work. And a lot of the times, the scenes we were supposed to start shooting, we couldn't do because the time code wasn't syncing or something was still like in the process of happening. So
gotcha.
Yeah. So like, I think you have to be on every single job you do, you have to be critical. Like, is this the most efficient way to do this? Or could I make this like even faster? Even if it's like, yeah, some solutions cost money and some don't. That's why I got into 3D printing, because that can solve a lot of issues with a little, like very little money.
Yep.
And then I'll give you another example. I got into FPV drones for the reason that we are not allowed to film with DJI drones, military stuff, because military has banned all the DJI drones.
It's fascinating you say that, and I don't mean to interrupt you. Last podcast I did with Clayton, I asked him about that, and he said they had no issues. Same up in Canada. Anytime we're working with CANSOF, like our special operations, can't use DJI drones. So it's interesting. Yeah, have the same problem.
Yeah. I've heard, I've seen them used in military context, but they were like jailbreak devices. They run like ATAC through the controllers, which is pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, because I've heard people tear up those drones, and basically they gather this. Well, on top of gathering the GPS data when they fly, they also have those like what do you call it, obstacle sensors.
Yep.
Which take photographs when they fly, and they store that in a cache file, so you can find those files. And then they say there's not an option where a feature where it sends that data somewhere, but they assume when you take it up to a refresh care or like to repair shop, then they'll take out that footage.
Yeah.
So there is that security concern, and they are not allowed near any military basis or military activity.
Yep, same.
So then we had an option, and the guys asked me like, what's the option? I said maybe parrots. They cost like 10 grand over here, and they're not that good with filming. Or then we have to start building our FPVs. And then they were like, cool, start building FPVs. I'm like, yes sir, I'll do it.
Jeez.
So so I've been flying the simulator for like 100 hours now. I've got into 3D printing. I've done a ton of research into different kind of drone setups and what cameras I'm going to put on top. And it's been like, guess that's part of my job now, but I have to do it if we want to get some aerial footage in those settings. So
good for you, man. Good for you. Because I was like, yeah, I can't have a drone. It's like, all right, guess we're not having a drone. Honestly, my head never went, I can just build one. It's like, no. Yeah. I got just off camera, I have like a 12-foot boom pole. I just put a GoPro on, and it's like, there we go. There's your drone.
There we go. Yeah. And dude, and like the same thing with like radios, or I just recently bought a Starlink of my own because I wanted to like, and this is an interesting topic actually. I think I am allowed to say this, but during our production, we ran into this issue because we're quite prolific in Finland, because there's not a lot of competition for what we're doing in Mighty Finland, and since I have my like home server or like the NAS, and I have like it goes through Cloudflare. So I was showing our DIT, who was still sending all the footage through Frame.io. I said to him like, hey, we have this like our local hosted setup, and I can show how I protect it because it needs to be encrypted for military stuff, especially if you're working with like special forces. And I was showing him the security side of my setup, and then I said, oh shit, look at that. Well, as I was like describing it to him, we found out that the Russians had tried to get into my servers. They had like tens of thousands of requests during the last couple of days. Yeah. And I am super glad that I'm such a nerd that I've encrypted and make it like so hard for even me to use it, because I have so many security features built in on all of my devices. And we found out, the Russians were really trying to get into our servers.
Jeez.
And so that's when we started. I started teaching that production company we're working with, like, hey, you need to take these steps seriously, and like you don't have to go out and buy these all like crazy systems. You can do it yourself, and you just have to figure it out and be interested about it. And at first, like a couple of years ago, I didn't know anything about cybersecurity, but now I've had to teach myself a lot of that. And it's just, you don't have to be a software engineer to get into it. You just have to like problem solve little by little, like start solving small problems, and eventually your knowledge will build up. And like right now, since we're doing this, like I said, like our workflow is improving, our projects are like becoming bigger and bigger, but we're not like still scaling up with our budget. So we still have to kind of figure out how we can make the same level of stuff we have right now work in even like when it's more is required of us.
Yeah.
So I'm now like building a custom Basecamp setup, which will basically run off a Starlink and Meshtastic, and then so I've some like security cameras set up, and because we work from Airbnbs, and on the last shoot, Airbnbs can be tricky because the owner came to the house a couple of times when we were out shooting.
Fine.
And our data technician said, hey, the owner came in and took some stuff like that belonged to him, and he was looking around, and we were like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, there's the footage, there's the cameras, and the general security. So yeah, there's tons of things at this point, right? Like we talked about earlier, like at this point, somebody would give up and say like, we can't do anything about it, or then we need like a very expensive solution.
Yeah.
But what if you just build a security system on your own? Like set up in remote locations where internet doesn't work, set up an internet, buy a Starlink, set up security, like buy security cameras. Like you can get those cheap security cameras and do your like own server to run security and like AI detection. So build a case like that and make it so light that you can put it in a Pelican case.
Yeah.
And then like bring eco flows and make it sustain itself for even like a couple of hours, or like even longer if you need to. And then if your communication's not working, freaking build your radios, or do figure out a system like Meshtastic. Or I'm getting into Meshtastic right now, but I'm sure it will prove into some sort of MANET, which is like mobile ad hoc network. Because on top of texting, we might need to send bigger files, and I just have to figure that out. And it's not that maybe I am just ambitious person, but also like I feel like I can figure it out. There's got to be a way you can do that. So
it's kind of dope that that's where your head's at. Honestly, like that's really admirable. I really mean that. Where, to your point, like you've hit so many points where people just be like, no. Like myself included, just like, no, that's good. But like the fact that you have that drive and that motivation where like nothing seems off the table for you, or your ability to learn how to do whatever that is really admirable, man.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think it really is an asset at the end of the day, not having been through school for this or like have prior experiences. Like when you're self-taught in videography or whatever I'm doing, like for the most of my time, then I feel like that same sense of idea for like everything else I do. Like, yeah, I can figure out how to do music, and I can figure out how to do cybersecurity or 3D printing or drones or whatever. Like, it's just one by one. But basically, I don't have any other social life outside of this. So then there's that trade-off. So I'll be just home building radios and drones, and people.
Dude, that is part of the gig. I find and maybe that's it's interesting because we're so far apart in age, but man, I have friends who I talk to regularly who I haven't seen in years, because just you're never home, and when you're home, you're kind of not really home, and it's like it's always kind of that uphill battle. Before I forget, completely off topic. Because I'm not sure if we listen to the same type of music, what vocalists have you tried to emulate, or have you kind of gone after when you were learning your vocals? Because like your stuff, and I'll post links in the description, you're incredibly talented at something that is very, very, very difficult as someone who's played in bands with screaming and stuff like that. Like, to do that well and consistent is a talent in and of itself. Who were you looking to when you were coming up and developing your voice in that area?
I think my biggest inspirations, like I'm from a newer generation. I was born in the year 2000, so I listened to a lot of new metal and metalcore.
I was in high school.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm a little kid.
That's so funny.
But I think one of my biggest inspirations is I gotta say, like, Linkin Park, Chester Bennington. I even got the flame tattoos on my forearms as a tribute to him.
So I'm gonna stop you right there, and I don't mean to interrupt because I want to hear this. I made a note. So you have a link on one of your social things to is it Pitkanen? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Oh yeah.
So did you do background vocals on some of those songs, or is that you also doing main vocals?
That's me doing everything, yeah.
Okay, so you're also a very good singer. Didn't know, but also like you're just talented and everything. Yeah. There's a song on there that I listened to called Ego Death.
Oh, hell yeah.
So my note is Ego Death, Pitkanen, Linkin Park, sounds like Chester. And the background screaming in that, I was listening to it and I'm a big background screamer guy. Like, I love hearing that, like, just under the mix a little bit, because it just gets you. And I heard the screaming vocals in that, and I was like, holy shit, that's like straight up Linkin Park, same kind of cadence and frequency as Chester. And it's like, again, not easy. So again, sorry to interrupt, but that is literally in my notes to talk to you about, and why I wanted to know about your inspiration, because that is the first thing I heard when I heard that song.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a fun side project. Actually, my friend's a producer. He does like the tracks behind the songs. And then once he sent one of those tracks to me, I was like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, it sounds good. It needs some vocals. Let me do something, because I know, like, I do rap and all kinds of like different styles. And then we made that first song. It's called 12400, which is the zip code for my old town.
Cool.
And and then we were like, well, shit, this sounds like music, and let's release it. So every time I'm having like an overflow of ideas that I can't put into my work or my band, like the new metal, I just put out that Pitkanen stuff, and it's just because, like I said, like, I have an overflow of ideas. I need to get it out, and that's such a fun platform to also explore like all kinds of creative sides. And for me, like, even singing, which is crazy, I'd say that's also a skill you can learn. I don't think it's talent. I think it's the same kind of drive you have to have for it. And it's been, I started in 2019, so it's been like 6 years, 7, 8, almost 9 years now that I've done like vocals and singing and such. So I just started teaching myself, and countless hours of screaming in the car and listening to music, like picking apart. Like, I think the ability to kind of self-critique and kind of really compare yourself to something other people are doing is really important. Not in the sense that, like, because you get this what's the effect, or there's a word for it, when you like everything you make you feel like is good, or you like get attached to it. There's a certain word for it, but I can't remember it right now. There's a term for it. But anyways, but like, yeah, you really have to, especially when you start making music and you hear your voice for the first time, you get this like kind of disconnect, and you maybe don't like how you sound or whatever. And at some point, I was just like figuring out like how can I improve? Like, am I locked in with this voice I have, or can I improve it, or can I scale it? And it's just like getting so deep into like actually listening what they are doing, like the people like Chester or any other Ollie Sykes from Bring Me the Horizon, or Sam Carter from Architects. Oh yeah, I love those guys. And one of my favorite bands, While She Sleeps, also from the UK.
Yes,
they're good.
Yes.
I got their
Sean
logo
on guitar.
tattooed
Oh
on
my god, dude! So I was
still
watching. Yes. I was watching Sean's Instagram. I think they're recording a new album right now. I just, I could listen to them. Like, I'm a guitar guy. I could listen to them all day, every day. Like, so good. There's
they are incredible.
I hate that I'm picking up my phone, but you're the only person I can talk to about this who will know the reference probably. There's a breakdown in one of their songs that I used to just play on repeat. Haunt Me. The breakdown in Haunt Me. I would just like play, rewind. I think I could probably guess it's like 2 minutes and 34 seconds into the song. I've heard it so many times. Like the writing, the guitar, like everything about that is just so goddamn tight.
And you know what's even like the most interesting part about that band? They are also very DIY. Like they do everything by themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that is also why I really connect with their music, because I feel that DIY spirit. And they are also people who openly talk about it, like what it takes to make it in the music business. And they say, like, even when they sold out that, what was that show? They did like that crazy big arena or whatever.
I can't remember. I'm lost in details.
Could be.
Maybe.
Like, yeah, when they announced, like, yeah, nobody's going to invite us there. Like, we'll have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And then they built the stage, they built the production, and they did everything. And I think it's that mindset of like, yeah, nobody else is going to do it with me. I'll just have to figure it out. If I want to do it, I'll figure it out how to do it. And I think that is also ingrained in their music and everything they represent as a band. So I really resonate with that. And yeah, so that happened with music. I learned to really self-critique myself, and I thought to myself, like, okay, well, I'll have to research microphones, I have to research mixing, I have to research techniques and how to improve my voice. And suddenly, I can't still believe it's 9 years later, but 9 years later, people are saying that I know how to sing and I know how to do screams, and I get to be a frontman in a band. So I guess there's some to it, you know.
Can confirm all of those things. You're very, very talented. And like, it's funny, you talk about teaching yourself. So I'm not a singer. I'm like a hack retired guitar player. I used to be okay at guitar, and now I'm like less okay at guitar. But when my band at the time and I were recording our first album, went in the studio, and we're like a mix between like harder rock and like a pop punk band. Like we're just a blend. Like we're very like if you listen to punk, like Face to Face to Strung Out kind of variation of music. And I was doing harmonies, and I have like a pretty limited range, but like I can hold my own to a point. And I was getting to the point where I was struggling and I was sounding like shit. My voice was falling apart. And I was like, as you know, you can get very frustrated very quickly in the studio when things are not going your way, and you're just like, I want to rip the walls down. I'm so angry that I can't just do this thing on command. It's the worst feeling ever, and it's so vulnerable, because you're either alone with some guy listening to you suck, or all of your best friends are there listening to you suck, super isolated. Like it's the worst feeling. But I remember going back in the control room, and I was like super down on myself, and my producer came up to me, Vince, and the ball of wisdom that he is, he's just like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? I'm like, sure. He pulls me aside. He's just like, hey, like, can you do like 100 push-ups right now? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like he's like, could you do 100 push-ups right now? I'm like, no, Vince, I can't do 100 push-ups right now. What are you talking about? He's like, right. He's like, why not? And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's just like, you could train to get to 100 push-ups, right? I'm like, where are you going with this? And he just said, yeah, your vocal cords are muscles. He's like, you've never sang, you've never done vocal warm-ups, you don't know what you're doing. Why do you have an expectation that you could walk in and suddenly nail all of these notes that you've never even tried to before? He's like, it's like if I asked you to do 100 push-ups, like you need to train to get your muscles to a point where you do 100 push-ups. He's like, you can hit those notes one day, just not right now. He's like, you need to work at it. He's like, so don't be frustrated that you can't do something immediately. That's hard to do. And that really stuck with me for a lot of things in life, where it's just like, yeah, why do I have this out of the box expectation to get it without any pretense or previous knowledge of how to do it? And singing is definitely one of those things. One of my clients, a blues singer, And he went to a vocal coach for years to train something out of his vocal cords. Like I'm going to butcher this story, but his vocal cords would do this weird flap thing where he was hitting 2 different octaves simultaneously on certain ranges. And so he needed to relearn how to open his vocal cords so that he wasn't getting this weird offshoot note while he was singing. But it was like, he did it. It's like he literally, like, he went to a vocal coach and learned how to work that muscle differently. So it's honestly, I think, one of the coolest things that you can teach yourself how to do. And if you can do it well, which you can, it's kind of fucking cool to be able to, like, if you have a day one video where you're starting and trying to work on something in your car to fronting a band at a show in front of like hundreds of people or thousands of people, it's like, it's pretty fucking cool.
Oh yeah, man. And that's also, I have a home studio, so I am allowing myself to record everything like 100 times over if I need to. I think that's also something I really like, that it has that drawback of there's nobody critiquing me here, so the stuff I'm doing, I have to really like be in tune with myself and know what I'm doing. Is it good? Is it bad? Because I can be just doing stuff out my ass for like hours and hours, and like at worst part, I don't want to talk down about anybody, but there are like people who do stuff, they think it's good, and they don't have the ability to self-critique themselves.
That's fair. I don't think that's talking down. That's a fair assessment.
Yeah. I mean, some people have that, and like you say like, oh, they tried everything, and they think like, yeah, this is really good, and you're like, okay, but do you hear this thing or this thing that could be?
You see that in video too.
Improved. Yeah. And you talk. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's much easier to explain in that field than in music.
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah. And then I think once you like start applying that to every single thing you do, is when you can achieve great things. But I think that really that self-critique is important, because not only is it like in stuff you like do or you put out, or like in creative stuff, but also like how you carry yourself, what kind of routines you have, like what kind of a person you are, like what we talked about earlier, like make an impression, how can you manage your schedules and everything, especially in like freelance, and when you do stuff when you are your own boss, you really have to take that accountability in everything you do. Yep.
And I think everything is a skill, everything you can learn to it slowly, and you just have to really have that talk with yourself, like, I am able to do this, I just have to do it piece by piece and figure it out.
That's me with VFX right now. I'm like,
oh really?
Dude, like, I've tried so many times to sit down and half-ass learn, which is my own fault, but like half-ass learn how to like comp a green screen element into a 3D environment. And I'm kind of just at the point where that's my goal this summer, is working on dealing with 3D environments. I've sat down with Blender and Unreal Engine and been like, this is the day, this is where I start. And I'll get like 5 minutes in and just like, nope, I don't have the bandwidth mentally to do this. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, like similar to you, like I have a home studio, I can set it all up, and I just did a bunch of green screen this week, and I'm just like, okay, like, I don't know how nerdy you are, but there's a new plugin that just came out by the Corridor crew guys. It's called Corridor Key.
I watched that video.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that really made me go, okay, it's only getting easier. Let's see if we can work this out. And so that's my thing. But it sucks to suck. It sucks to suck. And it's such a humbling thing to just be like, okay, this is not going to take 5 minutes. This is going to take 5 weeks to kind of like get through this very tough portion before I barely know what I'm doing. Very similar to guitar or singing or anything like that, but it's necessary for my business. You know, if we want to compete, and not to offshoot to a different topic, but like if we want to compete with things like AI and bring advanced value to our customers, our clients, we have to learn these things. Like whether we like it or not, like it's just as a side, I had a client, my musician client, years and years ago. This was like 10 years ago, before I was full time. He came to me. He's like, "Hey man, like your sound recording ability is terrible." He's like, I have to hire someone to fix the sound on the videos we're doing together because it's so bad. And I'm like, and so what it was at the time, just for context, was I was shooting on a Canon 7D because I'm old, and this is when that was. It was like 2012, 2011. And there's a preamp that was just cooking the audio. Like the audio preamp in that camera was awful. And I was like, oh my God. And it made me so self-conscious. And I spent like a year just obsessively studying audio recording for video. And then that turned into music recording. And then I ended up recording with bands and stuff like that. And now it's just like, I've worked sound on documentaries because it's like, yeah, sure. Like once you do it, it's pretty straightforward. But again, it's having that kind of like, what do you call it? Like your arrow in your quiver where it's like, can you do video? Yep. Can you do sound? Yep. And like at a certain level where you have that competency where it's not like if someone was like, hey, can you do VFX? It's like, that arrow it's not back there. I'm reaching for an empty quiver right now, but it's finding those tools to put in your toolbox, like consistently over time.
100%. And I had actually a great story about this also. So a little backstory, as a kid, I used to do like a lot of parkour and free running. And
you do all the coolest shit ever.
Of course. Like I did backflips every day when I was a kid. And there's this one great athlete, his name is Jason Paul. He's actually a Red Bull athlete nowadays.
Very cool.
And he is such an inspirational character because he moved his family out from Germany to Japan, a country or like a culture that is not similar in any way to Germany. Like, new language, new culture, new everything. And I remember following that process when I was a kid and him talking about it, like learning Japanese, learning about stuff, being interested in a lot of things. And once he said this quote that goes, know something about everything and everything about something. And I remember like when I heard that as a kid, it kind of validated all my dreams and all my hobbies. Like, yeah, like I am allowed to be interested in all of these fields. And also I am allowed to learn something about them. I don't have to be that like special sound engineer to still work audio or still like, I don't have to have a musical background to still be interested in music or whatever.
Yep. And
at one point in life, I maybe find that one thing I want to know everything about. And I think I found it now, being videography or whatever this combination of everything is.
Yep.
But at the same time, like I remember, and this comes up a lot because people ask me what software I use, and I edit everything in DaVinci. I don't know, do you use it too?
I'm Premiere, but I will be switching to DaVinci.
Yeah. So then you are also going to come up to the point when you see like, obviously I don't know your background, but if you haven't worked with like node structures before or like...
No, it'll be my first time.
Yeah. So then a lot of people at that switching point, they say like, oh, but there's so much, I don't know like how to get into it. And it's so complicated. So I don't make the switch. But like I even recommend learning DaVinci to people who come up for the first time and say, hey, I haven't edited anything ever. Which software do you recommend? And I don't recommend them CapCut. I say, go learn DaVinci. Go in the edit page, learn like the two primary functions, like learn how to cut and learn how to export it out. And you start piecing it piece by piece. You don't have to go learn Fusion. You don't have to go learn color theory. You don't have to do those things. Just I know it's a big, scary software and there's a lot of pages and a lot of buttons, but just learn like the couple things you need, it gets you through the thing.
Yeah.
Then for the next project, maybe learn one more thing that you can add on top of that. And I think that principle has I live by that.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like you can get into 3D printing or building radios or doing cameras or building computers. This is not the first computer I built, and I feel confident I could build the next one because I kind of know now the general things you need to know and the general troubleshoots you're going to have to go through. And even though the components won't be the same for a friend if he builds a computer, if I'll build a second one, but I know the steps I need to do to figure out how to build it, Yeah. So now I have that like confidence to do it. I don't stop myself thinking I've done it only once or I have never done it before. Like I can't do it at all, because yes, you can. You just little by little start with the small steps.
And
I think the same with VFX. Like I have Blender sitting in my desktop. I still,
As
which
do
I have never opened. But if I ever have any extra time, I know I'll get into it. I'll start with the donut tutorial that's on YouTube, and then one by one start doing it. And I know if I'm able to figure out all this stuff, I think I'm able to also figure out how Blender works. I'll just need time and to actually dedicate time and one by one learn it.
And there's something to be said for external pressures. And I've talked to a couple groups of like younger filmmakers and stuff like that. And the story I love to go back to is my first job I accepted, that TV job I was telling you about, that I quit my job for. They called me, and it was MMA thing, which I used to do a lot of video work in mixed martial arts and stuff. And
cool.
They called me and they're like, hey, our editor just quit. Do you want to edit our TV show? And I was like, yes, of course. And he's like, cool, he's like, are you a Mac guy? Because it's being done in Final Cut. Have you worked in Final Cut? And I was like, yes, of course I've worked in Final Cut. I had never once in my life worked in Final Cut. And he's like, cool, can you come to Toronto tomorrow to pick up this giant NAS drive and a MacBook, and we'll give you a MacBook, and then like, can you start next week? So I said yes, quit my job on the spot, like called my manager and was like, yeah, this is my 2 weeks, I'm gone. And on the train ride from Ottawa to Toronto, which is about 7 hours, give or take, I read the Final Cut Pro cookbook, which at the time was like the hottest thing that you could get. There was YouTube then, but it was mostly like, hey, here's an instruction manual on like a Final Cut for dummies, basically. And my whole thing was like, learn enough phrases in this book to pass the smell test when I go and meet with these guys, and then just figure it out on the fly. Like, you know how to edit video. I'm a Premiere guy. I've always been a Premiere guy, and Sony Vegas a little bit early on in like 2011.
I think for some reason, I think everybody has started with Vegas. I've heard that, like, everybody used it.
It was like the cheapest. Like, if you went there, like, I was an idiot. Like, when I first started, I bought the $500 CD-ROM, which was ridiculous in hindsight. I should have pirated it, but yeah, it was so dumb. I was like, oh, you gotta whatever. In any case, you learn from these mistakes. So yeah, it was a little bit of Sony Vegas, but I switched to a pirated copy of Premiere and had never looked back. My copy of Premiere is, if Adobe's listening, is legit. I have all the things. I pay for all the things now, just for the record. But yeah, so went down, had this conversation, threw out some terms, some Final Cut terms, and like they were like, oh, have you edited MXFs? Because everything was FS7 at the time, was all Sony. I was like, yeah. Again, threw out like, oh, so we're cutting in proxies, and yeah, okay, cool, yeah, no problem. Had no idea what I was talking about, and then figured it out. The first week was like terrifying because I was like, I made a huge mistake. I don't know what I'm doing, and this is a real live TV show. Like, they're gonna kill me. And then by the end of the week, you're like, oh, I figured out the bulk of it, and then it's the finer details, and then but that little bit of pressure, it's like your brain just becomes a sponge, like under stress and under duress, where you're like, oh, okay, like you do not have a choice. You need to figure this out. It was a $500,000 project, and they're looking to you to figure it out. And so you just figure it out. But like that external stress certainly helps you along. Like if I had a client who was like, hey, we need you to figure out Unreal Engine for this project, and we're going to pay you X amount. It's like, okay, like I'll figure it out.
Yeah. The exact same. Yeah, I've done that multiple times. Say like, can you do it? Yes, sir. And no idea how to do it. But I also think, like they say, and this is a funny thing because I haven't, and I bring this a lot in conversations because I'm still young, but because I haven't been to school for this stuff. And they say like either way, if you go to school or not, but the best place to learn is in the job itself. Like that's the trial by fire, really.
100%.
And like literally nowadays, like even you said you learned with the Final Cut cookbook, or what's it called?
Yep.
But like in 2026, when there's like the internet is so full of tutorials. You like AIs or not, but they are great teachers to some extent. There's tutorials for everything. There's forums. There's people you can ask over social media. Like, there is zero excuses not being able to figure something out that is related in this like in anything in general. I don't think there's too much that you cannot learn these days if you just put in the effort and like actually know where to look. And it's not even not know where to look, but if like, can you figure out what you need to figure out? Like,
that's a great man. That's such a good way to put it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, because there's this old saying like, you don't know what you don't know.
I say that I think all the time.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. But for some reason, I feel like today we live in such an age that you can figure out what you don't know and what you need to find out. Or like the Dunning-Kruger has gotten like flatter. Like, you can get straight to over the first bump really fast if you start figuring out, okay, what are the steps I need to do. And it's the same way, like if you're starting a business, you just don't have to go head in like blind to whatever comes. Like, you can figure stuff out beforehand, and you don't have to make all the mistakes, and you don't have to spend all that time learning by making errors when you can literally figure it out beforehand. I did the same thing like when I went to this job, and I've never shot in an FX6 before, so I just learned the whole thing. I learned the whole menu system. I learned it all some quirks and stuff about it, and the first time I held it in my hands at the rental place, I was like, yeah, I know how this thing works. I know all this and this and that.
Dude, it's so funny you say that, because I was literally gonna say, when I bought the R5C, I had watched so many videos on YouTube on what the menu system was, what the button configuration was, everything. I unpacked it and knew how to use it like any camera. Yeah. It's you spend more time training your hand the new button configurations when you're not looking than anything else. But it's just like, you fire it up and you're like, oh, I've seen this menu 100 times. You're like, yeah, okay, change all these things, these are the settings I need. It's like, that access to information is key. But what's funny, jumping back a second, you say you don't know what you don't know. I literally, on Monday, doing this media day shoot with one of my colleagues, Jordan, lights out green screen guy, we were talking about film school kids. And my issue, and I use that term very lightly, my issue with film school kids is they're taught such certainty in things. Well, you have to do this, and it has to be done this way, and it has to be set up like this, and the lights have to do this, and that's to your point, is I think what comes with like, you're never going to learn better than when you learn in practical applications, and it's not that mindset isn't a negative fault against them. It's, you don't know what you don't know. Is when someone says, well, you can't do that. It's like, oh yeah, if you for sure can, you just don't know that you can do that, and you don't know that this is how that sausage is made. Like, it's not a sterile classroom setting where everything's perfect. It's like, no, this is fucking chaos. Like, welcome to the party. Like, it's okay. Yeah. Like, you just have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Man, my boss said something this past week. We were doing a concealed carry package for these guys, and he busted out something. He's talking about professionals. He's like, we're professionals, and we're paid to be uncomfortable, and we're paid to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And it's the inconvenience factor. It's like, it's so true that, you know, a good example, this shoot, we had a whole other segment of this shoot this past week for this media day planned, and we rolled up and they were just like, hey, we're not gonna have time. We got to scrap like all this, and then we're gonna carry over like half of what was planned now onto green screen. So we need to account for that. And it's just being like, yeah, okay. And like, that's the difference between like, oh my God, like whatever, which is you kind of deem unprofessional, just inexperienced, to just being like, okay, cool. Like, no factor. Like, we're good. Like, we'll accommodate as needed. Like, yeah, lights are gonna have to move around a bit, but it's like, well, we brought lots of fucking lights. We're good. Like, it's all good. And it's being comfortable in that discomfort and not being bothered by inconvenience on shoots, on locations, under different circumstances that I think separates the film student who expects everything to be perfect and like a more seasoned professional who's just very comfortable with like, oh yeah, this is a nightmare, but like that's okay. Like, that's our baseline.
Yeah. Also, funny, another angle to this is that during the TV shoot I was just on, we had like industry professionals as other videographers, and then there's like me being one of the lead TPs. And it was funny because we ran into a lot of production issues where they were like, oh, this is the most chaotic production I've ever been on because we don't have this and that, and we don't have call sheets, and we don't have this and this technology.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm being like, dude, we have way more than I normally have, and I'm fucking rocking it. Like, I don't see the issues here.
Yep.
And then, and it's funny. It's not even that, like, because the seasoned professionals were like at that level. They weren't the new kids. They've done this for like 20 years or something. They like, it felt like they knew everything, or they like prescribed themselves like they knew everything. Mm-hmm. And they were at that level. And they, when you achieve that, like I said earlier, like when you achieve that level of when you're just okay with the level you are, mm-hmm. and when you're comfortable, they have this saying like stagnation equals death. And like, you know,
love that.
I think that career wise, I think that happens for some of those guys who are in the industry. They might be like seasoned, but I like in music scene, there's like this sound engineers, like I've been doing this for 25 years and we only do analog, like all that digital stuff is bullshit. Or like people saying like, hey, you can't have a shaky camera on a TV show. I'm like, yes, you can. Like, who said that? Like,
who's making the rules?
Here to make the rules. Yeah, we're here to make the rules.
Yep.
So it was it was funny seeing like me, because I'm still young in the industry, but it was funny seeing that like that professionalism of like being okay in the uncomfortable and being okay with the limitations you have. And like, I'm usually, a lot of people describe me in the way you just said, like stuff comes up, I'm being like, okay, well, okay, no factor, too easy, nobody's died, so we're not in a panic. Like,
exactly,
we'll do the next thing. And it was funny seeing like at some point you can even get those like professionals who have been there for a long time. They can have that like when stuff goes south and they'll give up and they'll be like, oh, this just production sucks, we're not going to figure it out. But you can have also those younger guys who are just they have the drive to figure it out.
Yep.
And that is either a skill set you have or you don't. I think it's more of a personality trait, and it's something you can't really learn. But which has been an enabler for me, and I hope I never get too comfortable when I say everything I do is good and everything just works, and like
dude,
I want to keep improving myself every day, like all throughout the years.
100%, dude. It's funny you talk about like expectations on shoots and stuff, and like just this past week, that same shoot, they're like, hey, you know, we looked at the schedule and we realized like we didn't have a meal break in there, and like we're really sorry, like we'll try and figure something out. And like me and my buddy are just like, I don't think we've ever gotten a meal break on one of these days, because you're just car washing so many athletes. It's like you don't stop until everyone's done. And so it's just like, it's fine, like no, we're good, like we got like 5-minute breaks here and there in between players. It's like there's no, and they're just like, no, we're just really sorry, like that's not fair. It's like, this is what we do, like it's okay. And they're like, what do you guys want for dinner, like after the shoot's done? It's like, you don't have to get us dinner, but like cool, like this is great. But just their previous expectation was like, oh, we gotta have set meal breaks, and like it's like, dude, no, like I've never had anyone be like, what do you want for lunch? It's like, huh? Like I appreciate it, it's so nice to be taken care of like that, but it is not standard procedure for like most things that we do. It's like, do you have a granola bar in your bag? Good, because that's the meal you're getting for the day. Like, wicked. I got some monsters and a granola bar. Like, I'm set, dude. Like, we're good.
Yeah, this past TV shoot went exactly like you described, and there was like people there like, okay, so we'll have our own hotel rooms, right? And we'll have like all this and that. I'm like, dude, I'm okay to sleep on the floor. Like, I'm here for the adventure. I brought my 100%. Sleeping bag. I can sleep on the floor. I don't care. Or the meal breaks or whatever. And especially when you're working like with military units who like, if they go out, do something at 6 a.m., you know, you have to wake up at like 4 a.m. to catch 100%. Up with them. So the days were like super long, and we were out in the field shooting for like 20 days straight in the Arctic. And
so crazy.
It was so funny. Like what you described, like these people, like, because when I invoiced, when I sent the invoice for the shoot days, and then the producer reached out to me and she's like, okay, I counted you had only like 13 shoot days. Like, how is there this many long? You should have like break days. I'm like, break days. Like
break days.
We had 20 days. We had to film every single day. Like do scenes, like bust them out. I had to film every day. And she's like, "Oh yeah, they're in my Excel, but yeah, wow, you've been really working out there." I'm like,
yes.
Yes. Like scheduled break days, like according to a contract, like we didn't have time for that. We barely had time to sleep or eat. So I don't know. There's
so
just like
funny.
You just gotta live in the field, man. Like you gotta know what it's like doing it out there and not being from the comfort of your home or like remotely, like just like monitoring stuff.
So
and having these expectations, like you have to be fair in these situations, because this is still it requires a lot to push through a documentary or stuff that we're doing.
So one thing I'm curious about, and this might be a little inside baseball for most people listening, but one thing I'm very cognizant of these days, especially when we're on course, is pacing myself and not trying to be like, obviously do my job to the best of my ability, but not really over rotate and do too much during the day, which sounds like you're phoning it in. But for us, at least in my experience, like, you know, say your call time's 6 or 7 in the morning and then you're working until 4:30. I know that after filming for 6.5 of those hours, I have another 4 hours of work back at the hotel. And I need to be sharp to turn around all of those assets that we just shot for the next morning so that they can go and download all those files. So I'm always having that in the back of my head, depending on the job, obviously, but where it's like, hey man, like you're going real hard right now. You need to chill because you're still not done work. Like you got half a day's of work after this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think, and especially like, I mainly talk about the projects I do with Mighty Finland because it's like my biggest thing I do. I still do like all kinds of other shoots independently, but especially like with that Mighty Finland shoot, because we are all in the company. We are all like, we have military background and we have served, and I think we just have that mental state of like when we're out filming, we tell ourselves we're out filming, and it's from like. Is it SEALs or whoever had the saying, like you go from meal to meal, like
oh yeah, it was Rob O'Neill.
Now you're getting to eat, then you go out and you just think about making it to the next meal. And I think for me, like I'll put that like as soon as I leave home. For me, it's like in a bigger scale. Like as soon as I leave home, I know I'll be on a job, I'll be on an adventure, and whatever happens outside my door it could be like it's a 40-hour shoot. Like you don't sleep for 2 days or you don't get to eat, and you just have to be ready for that mentally and physically, and then also your gear has to be ready to do that. That's why I wear like these cargo pants every day, and that's why I kind of dress still like. If I have to, I can be outside like all day if I need to, or if schedules just elongate, or if stuff breaks down, or if we have
need
to
good
like
shoes.
Oh yeah. I rock a lot of Salamans, so a lot of like military, a lot of military principles kind of transferred to this life, and I'm glad that I went through my service because I've carried a lot of those into this life. And also one of the best aspects about my job now, I get to film with Mighty Finland, and we film for like a lot of militaries and NATO alliance and a lot of cool groups and companies. And one of the best things for me is that I now get to do all the best parts of the military, like get to see all the cool gunfights and helicopters and whatever, and not having to go through all the shitty phases. But still having that same kind of mentality, like when they're going on a patrol and we're filming them, we'll have to also go on that patrol. And we're just not in a car beside them, but no, we're actually in the deep snow with the heavy camera that weighs the same as a machine gun. So it's kind of in my mind, like I never give up on that. Like I still have to be able to serve and be in that like kind of soldier mindset. So that also means like if I'm going on a shoot, I know I might not get any sleep or anything that I want to, but I'll just have to figure it out and be uncomfortable. So pacing myself, maybe it's still stupidity and naivety that I'm young, but I'm just like ready to go. Like as soon as I leave my door, I know all hell can break loose, and I just have to be ready for it.
And that's fair. I was probably similar at your age. I would love. I hope we stay friends for a long time, and then when you're 40, we'll circle back on this conversation, and we'll see if you're like, you know what, Josh, that yeah, I'm trying not to die out here. Yeah.
Hey, moderation is for cowards. That's what I said an hour ago.
But you know what? You mentioned something too, though, that I really like, and is something that I will never take for granted. Because like, I'm very lucky. I work with a lot of law enforcement, a lot of military, and I don't create all the sexy content all the time, but I create content, or capture content, I should say, that I do think serves a really big purpose in terms of, you know, giving these teaching materials to officers, to things that hopefully save their lives or people around them. And there's an importance to that I don't take for granted. But it is never lost on me how lucky I am, because I wanted to be military, or I wanted to be law enforcement when I was like pre-high school. And when I was in high school, I was like, oh, I want to be JTF2 so bad. I want to be JTF2. Mm-hmm. Just coolest shit in the entire world. And I joined cadets, which is like pre-military for us here in Canada. And I learned very quickly, I hate being told what to do. And when someone's yelling at me to be like, oh, do push-ups and run here, I'm just like, why? Why would I do these things? Like, that's not fun. Or where are the guns? Like, I want to do the fun shit. I don't want to drill like 2-3 hours of drill and turning. And I was like, no, not for me. Like, never. This will never be for me. But now I just have the advantage of, like, I think even if I were there, the way my brain's wired is I would be doing it and being like, man, I wish I could film this. This is so fucking cool. And now, you know, you're in a shoot house and you're lining up and you get to be number 5 in the stack and you're running behind these guys, like launch and sim at role players. You're like, this is the dumbest life ever. Like, I get to do all the fun stuff. And I didn't have to do really any of the hard stuff to get to this point. It's like, I don't know how I got here, but it's fucking awesome.
Dude, we got invited by Lockheed Martin out to Texas last December because Finland bought a whole bunch of F-35s.
Sick.
And when the first one was ready, they had a celebration ceremony in Texas, Fort Worth. And me and the host, Ville, got flown out by everything paid by Lockheed Martin. So we flew in first class. We stayed in a hotel, got to see some cowboys, then went to the factory, see some F-35s, then fly back home. And that was one of those things. Or then the project working with 20th Group is that being in a Chinook with them, or they're jumping out into the ocean and I get to film it and doing all this kinds of crazy stuff that is literally the dream come true. And especially like with military stuff is that, like, yeah, you get to see the sexy parts because you're behind the camera, and the better the stuff that's happening in front of the lens, the better it is for the material. So then you'll always get to that point of, like, they'll try to push you something cool to shoot. So I think it's the best job in the world, honestly.
I agree 100%. Before I forget, and I've held you for almost 2.5 hours, so I can't thank you enough for that time.
Oh, wow, really? I thought it's like 30 minutes.
Dude,
I've lost all sense of time.
I could talk to you all day. I am going to bug you to do this again in the near future, because this is like, I could talk to you for hours about just music. Like, what have you watched recently that's inspired you? Or like, it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I need to grab my camera, but like really got your brain working differently, or some cinematography in a movie you saw that was just like, fuck, like I never thought about doing something like that.
Okay, funny thing. I'm actually gonna say nothing, because for the last maybe 3 years or however long I've done this professionally, I haven't had the time to watch anything, which is
interesting.
Crazy. Maybe that is that is actually a thing I don't really talk about generally, because, you know, obviously, because I'm in the field. People expect me to know every show, know every movie. I don't remember the last time I've had the time to watch a movie or to watch a TV series. Because for me, especially being entrepreneur, I have this guilt of like, I have to be working and I have to deliver and whatever.
I get that.
I spend time on my hobbies. So it's funny working in the entertainment space and not actually being the consumer. Because for a couple of years, I haven't watched any TV or any movies, and which is crazy. For like the past, maybe after like COVID, I haven't had the time.
That's fair.
So yeah,
I don't think that's crazy. I mean, for me, it's over the past year, I would say, I've made it a point to watch something completely new every week. And whether it's like, it's a lot of older movies, like a lot of early 2000s or 90s movies that I just hadn't seen previously. But for me, and I'll give another example in a second, which I really want your answer to, is I do a lot of repetitive things for work, and I need something to break my mind out of a cycle of thinking one way.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if I'm editing 12 hours of CQB or like a few days of CQB footage, and I'm struggling when it comes time to do a creative project to like break my mind of CQB mode, I'll go and throw on a movie. And usually it's Mondays. Like if I need to break out of a cycle, I'll take some time on a Monday morning and I'll watch a movie that I've never seen before. This week it was There Will Be Blood, which was pretty decent. And it just rewires my brain and kind of makes me think about different things. And then I can do something creative. Like it's almost like I'm cleansing my palate. That's how I kind of use movies and TV shows now. Similarly, and this is where I would like your opinion, I'm the same way with music. Is if I'm finished like an 8-hour edit session, like so just yesterday I finished this story about the house that burned down this past weekend. And so I cut that after a few hours and I was like, I gotta go play guitar for like 40 minutes. And I have like a set list basically that I kind of run through every time. And I go plug in, throw the headphones on, and I'll just play. And then as soon as I'm done, I'm like, cool, I can do something completely different now that's not related to what I just did. And it's kind of like cleaning my slate. I'm curious if you can kind of bounce doing video and then being like, I need to do something else. And then you do something vocally creative. Yes.
I think that is what I do. And one of the main reasons also nowadays being that I don't necessarily want to be inspired by a certain movie or a certain TV show, because I heard it in music. Like if you write metal music and you listen to a lot of metal music, you subconsciously start to copy that like band that you really like. And I want to be like in my creative work, I want to be 100% like creatively independent. Like I don't want to know where my inspiration comes from. I don't want to end up copying anybody. And I think because I also work with such a variety of clients. Like also one of my main things is I own a tattoo studio here. And oh yeah,
you have the coolest fucking life in the entire
world.
Learn
a lot about
oh my god,
for real.
I love
it. But because they have this thing where we have this like old school mentorship thing where you come in as an apprentice, and that process involves a lot of like drawing by yourself, and you're not allowed to, at first, you're not allowed to draw on an iPad. You have to learn how to draw on a pencil. And then at some point, you're not allowed to learn or like use references. You have to start drawing by yourself. And you're not allowed to be inspired by a certain artist, because then you start copying them. And you have to develop your kind of own style, what really inspires you.
Yeah.
And I think personally for me, because I work in such a variety of like different fields, so every day feels different. And one day I could be literally flying on a helicopter, and next day I'd be shooting a music video, and then I'm at a wedding, and then I'm doing something for my tattoo studio. And it goes such a different ways that I really can't form a habit of doing like the same thing over and over again, because everything requires me in a different mind state. And in a different scene, like it also requires me to act differently and like try to like be comfortable in that kind of a setting with those kinds of different people, because the variety of people I get to work with is huge.
Yeah.
So then also there's the music thing that I do, and I don't even limit myself to a style or the music I listen to. I try not to listen to metal when I'm writing metal. Like I listen to all kinds of genres, and when I'm doing stuff, I want it to be like 100% out of my heart. I don't want it to be, oh, here I'm trying to sound like Jester or Sam Carter or whatever. I want those to be buried so deeply in the subconscious that during my life, I've gathered that inspiration, but I don't want it to be recent. and yeah, also I think also to your earlier question about what show has inspired me, I think since I have so many things I need to problem solve, that I've just kept myself busy, and like my palette cleansing is trying to build radios and 3D printing parts for them, soldering. So it's like a completely different thing. So I don't, because then again, like I love the creativity of being videographer and doing this for a living. But then also, if I would be only doing this and not having any other hobbies, then I would think I would get in that loop or get stuck in like creatively. But right now, literally, because I'm side questing every single day and doing like every single day is so different from earlier. I think it really keeps me going, and I don't feel like I'm getting stuck creatively. I don't think I've ever had that issue.
Man, that's awesome. Like, and it's funny too, because like being completely transparent with you, like I used to be very similar. I not so much in music, because I mean, like again, just a hack guitar player in a punk band, like everything was pretty derivative of other punk bands. But early on, not so much for photography, because I started in photography, but definitely in video, I wouldn't watch other people's work and I wouldn't follow other people's work because of exactly that. Like, especially even more recently, from like 2020 to 2025, working in sports, I wouldn't look at what a lot of other teams were doing unless it was like, have they done what I am endeavoring to do? For exactly that, just fear of copying what someone else is doing. But now, for me, I'm pretty much like I've got my style, and it's not anything special. And like for better or worse, I'm a very linear shooter editor. Like I don't use crazy crash transitions or anything. Like I'm not a flashy guy by any stretch of the imagination. I'm really like story focused.
Same.
And like that's just my thing. And I've fucked with so many different areas that I'm like, oh no, like you could, if you knew enough, you could watch all of these different types of videos and be like, I feel like the same guy probably did these, that I'm comfortable enough now after fucking 15 however many years to just be like, oh, this is me. Like I've tried to do other things, and if a client needs something specific, obviously you do it. You know, they're paying the bills. Oh, yeah. But I've tried to be like, oh, what's the crazy camera shake transitions and stuff like that. And I've tried, and I'm just like, it feels like I'm going around telling people my name isn't my name. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I'm wearing a mask almost. It's like, yeah, that's not who I am. That's not how I edit. And I'm trying too hard. Like, it just doesn't feel organic. Whereas, like, I can be a boring guy. Like, I can be the straight, like, yeah, oh, there's a light leak transition. Yep, that's as crazy as we're getting here. Like, and it's only because it made sense to the shot it was transitioning in. Like, but it took a long time to get to that point where it's like, yeah, I can follow guys like you and watch all your stuff and know that, like, oh yeah, I can't do this, and I'm not even gonna try, and it's not gonna seep into my subconscious. I might shoot in the Arctic one day if I feel super crazy before I die, but that's not high on my list right now.
You're welcome to hear anytime.
Dude, that's a little far. I mean, Lithuania was the farthest I've traveled in Europe. It's the only place I've traveled in Europe, and it was pretty dope, I will say. Like, I got some friends in Latvia. Like, maybe get out there, or Czechia. Maybe get out there one day. But okay, so my last question for you, sir.
Right.
And this is, you're going to have a little bit of recency bias because you are young. But if you had to go back and give yourself advice, 18-year-old you, and you're following the same path, but knowing what you know now, what would you tell 18-year-old yourself?
That is a good question. I think I would tell the 18-year-old Eetu, or actually I'd tell anybody who's like trying to figure out if it is all worth it, is that yes, you're gonna feel like a fish out of water for a long time, and you're gonna feel like it's not gonna work. Maybe the money is not there. Maybe it will not come. But also dreams can come true, and I think a lot of people have that thing stopping them, like wondering, like, if I don't make it, or if I'm gonna struggle. And yes, you are gonna be uncomfortable, and you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, like we said earlier. And man, I don't know what I would be doing if at any point, like, I haven't done this, like, yeah, like I said, yeah, I'm 25 right now, but I haven't been doing this for a long time. But even now, like, I have a stable career in this, and for the first time, like, I'm the lead DP of a TV series. Like, I could have not dreamed about doing that as an 18-year-old. Like, no way, if you would have told me by 25 you'd lead DP a TV series, I would believed it. But it can be done, and everything can be learned. So, like, even if it feels like a mountain, even if like, if you do the Dunning-Kruger curve and you see, like, there's so much I have to figure out, and there's so much, like, that can go wrong. I have to learn business. I'll have to learn this and that. But anything is possible. I'd say that. Let's just, like, keep going. And if you have a dream, I heard this one very good quote recently that said, unfortunately, if you don't make it, there will be no evidence that you tried. And sometimes I'm being really hard on myself, and I think that was one of those things, just like, that drives me. That I'm being like, yeah, I have to make it, or people are not gonna care, and I won't have a legacy to have.
I'm gonna steal the shit out of that quote. That is so good. Man, like, first off, that's great advice, and I can't echo that hard enough. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about doing extra. And this is a conversation I'm having with my kids. Like, I have a high school age daughter, which is crazy. And we were talking about, like, because she's like, trying to figure out what she wants to do, like, hypothetically, as a career, and sees what I'm doing now, and she's not quite old enough to remember, like, how much we struggled, like, which is probably a good thing, I guess. But it was always in my head, is you'd hit these points where you're like, again, being super transparent for anyone who's listening, and to you for context sake, is just like, where I couldn't pay rent. I have 4 kids and I can't pay rent, and it's like, oh, I have another skill set I can fall back on, and, like, maybe I should just go back to that. And it's like, that's where everyone quits. And those are the people who aren't going to make it in this industry, is because this is where it's really hard, and this is where everyone quits, and this is the time to not quit. Like, that was you going, like, okay, you're thinking about it, get it, that's where people are going to do it, don't do it. And then you're hit with another hard situation where it's like, oh, like, man, I remember back in the day, like, couldn't pay rent, my phone got cut off, you got collection agencies coming after you for the money you took out to get camera equipment, like, you name it, and you're just like, holy shit, like, now's the time to pack it in. And it's like, no, that's, like, you can't come this far. To your point, there's going to be no evidence that you tried. So it's like, this is the time to not stop. And again, like, it's been over a decade now that, yeah, it's worked out, but it's all of those little pit of your stomach, like, hey, maybe it's time to pack it in. No, now's the time to fucking dig in and, like, just keep pushing through.
Oh yeah, and that is a universal experience, like, not being able to pay rent, having to figure stuff out. Like, you will have all the excuses in the world why you will not work, and if you listen to any single one of those, you're not gonna succeed. When I started this, I actually use a app called Milanote to run my productions, like, or organize everything. It's pretty good. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can build all kinds of, like, boards in there. Okay. And in my main board, I have it set up as my, like, default browser window when I open my computer. So it has, like, all my projects, all my important links, everything, folders to clients and whatever. And I write, like, inspirational quotes in there. And one of the first ones I wrote was, don't have plan B. And I think, like, I went with that mentality, like, okay, I don't want to go to school. I have to figure out a career. I'll have to make it work in this. Like, no matter what happens, don't have a plan B. If you start doubting yourself, if you start leaning into those excuses, you will not make it in this industry, and especially since there's nobody to fall back on, or not, like, nothing, like, I don't know if I have another skill that I can monetize, but, like, it's going to be, you're going to regret it the whole rest of your life if you don't try. And don't have a plan B. That like just figure it out. You'll find a way. That's what I've been living by, and that's why I'm doing every single day. Like there are highs, and there are still lows. Like they come and they go, and you have to figure it out. Also, one more thing is that I have a lot of like creative friends, and especially like in the tattoo community.
Yep.
And especially when economically times are tough, people are second guessing their career choices, and it's funny. Like every time they are hit with this with struggles, there's like, oh, but you know, it's different for me. And always like when bad stuff happens, you personally think, oh, but this is different. Like this isn't the hard times they were talking about because it's my life now and it's different because this and this. But no, the hard times people quote about and tell stories about, if you're going through them, you have to recognize that, yeah, this is one of those hard times and you will live through it. And because I see it happening to me as well. Like people give these all kinds of brave quotes and talk about success stories and whatever and struggles. And then when the struggle hits you and you're like, oh, but this is different. Like for some reason, like this is different than all those heroic things. Like I could have been so amazing, but I'm now hit with this. But no, that's the same as all the great ones are going through. And one last quote is that lesser men have done more is also one of my favorites.
Oh, that's a really good one too.
Yeah.
I gotta like these show notes are just gonna be filled with quotes that I'm gonna put on Post-its on my fucking monitor now. Like that's solid, man. So where can people follow along in your insane adventures? Again, I feel like you have like the coolest life.
Thank you. I think one of the main platforms right now for me is Instagram. I don't use TikTok. I'm kind of contemplating if I ever have time to make a YouTube channel to because people want to know behind the scenes, like what's going on, because I have so many things
this guy.
that I do. But actually, I just bought some new cameras and microphones to maybe do my more behind the scenes on Instagram.
Okay.
Start making like breakdown videos. And actually, I did shoot a whole bunch of stuff BTS on the TV set, but I am unfortunately not allowed to release any of that.
Of course.
We'll see. Maybe next year I'll be able to do that. But I think Instagram is the best place, and I'll start doing a lot more behind the scenes things because I'm really lacking behind on posting all my client work that I'm doing. Like I'm doing so many things even you haven't seen because it's
so hard.
I do so many things.
It's so hard. Like I always joke, like I run an agency that runs people's social medias, and my social media is terrible. It's because it's all we do all day long is make things for people. Last thing you really want to do is make things for yourself, really. You're just like, dude, I don't have time to do this. Like,
at some point, I need to more bravely even share my like client work to my profile, because to showcase like what I'm doing, because people are missing out on the stuff I deliver. And then also, that same point, like not having time to do your own content, man, I get that. I really need to do it more.
I'm super lucky. Like with this project, it was again kind of what you just alluded to is like I see so many cool people like you, and I'm like, I just want to nerd out and talk to this person because you're doing like such good work in this industry, and I know there are people like me who want to know how you work and more about you and follow along. And so going to my boss and be like, hey, this is super outside the box and not anything we do, but can I make this part of what we do to like, because it has to do with what we do. And he's just like, yeah, sure, like whatever, it's all good. And so now I've been able to make this nerd project kind of part of my day-to-day job, which is awesome. And it affords me the opportunity. But if this could not fit in my day to day, it's like, man, there's no fucking way I would have time to like do this. Like, it's just it's so tough. Like I have so much studio content I've shot about like breakdowns on switching from Blackmagic to Canon and like pros and cons and like how I pack for shoots and all that stuff. And like when it comes time to edit that shit, I'm like, I just no. Like I cannot sit for a full day and work through this when I know I have client stuff that I got to do or client stuff coming up. You're just like, nope, it's okay.
I figured that out at some point when I started taking like rigs like this to a shoot, and I realized like I can't take phone photos of it to my social media. Like I wanted, my problem, and this is kind of going back to what we earlier discussed, is that once you set up a level for yourself and you're not allowed to go any lower of that.
Yep.
I kind of set up a expectation for myself that everything I post has to be like high quality in some level, or like quality that represents me. So I started hiring photographers to come shoot BTS of me carrying a camera, because I need that on my profile. And then also I hated doing Instagram stories, because that's what I like post. I post every day, like my crazy adventures on there. And by the way, it's Eetu Pitkanen. You can find it with my name if that's going to be on the
I'll
title.
have it in the show notes too. Yeah. You know what's funny is your name is remarkably easy to spell. Like it's very phonetic.
Oh, is this?
Yeah. The only thing was what I would call an accent aigu, which I'm sure it is not. It's a French thing, not a Finnish thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pitkanen is like how I would spell it. Maybe it's because I work with a lot of Europeans, but
Could be. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, like the importance of showcasing who is behind the camera and what the production looks like. That's actually an issue we ran in with Mighty Finland, and this is a side story, but because when we say we do like social media and YouTube, some like, especially like big military companies are be like, okay, so they're like YouTubers, like coming with like phones or like small cameras or whatever.
Yes.
And we took that as something we need to take seriously in our own marketing, is that we have to showcase like what the cameras are, how the production looks, and not just the end product, but like how the sausage is made. And actually, I love this little thing. I bought the Fuji X106.
How do you like it?
It's insane.
Colors are nuts, right?
The colors are nuts. The fact that there's like JPEGs you can send to your phone. I do all my Instagram stories to this. So I don't know if you've noticed, but like I wear this, like it's a funny thing, I'm not wearing it right now, but when I wake up, I strap this on. I have this all throughout the day. I put all my Instagram stories to this because I want to be, I want to be creative. Like if I have something to say, I have a chance to be creative and photograph it, or like photo it in an inspiring way, then put it on my story and then put something I want to say. And I bought that just to get more content out of the behind the scenes. And then also I bought some DJI, the new Nano camera. It's pretty cool. I can clip it on my hat or wear it on a necklace. And I bought some DJI mics because I really want to figure out if I have the time to also shoot BTS and kind of explain my workflow while I'm shooting and living this hectic life. And it is hectic, that I can say. So we'll see when I have time to edit this, but I'm hoping stuff like this will make it so that it's still high quality, but it's still low effort enough for me to produce and actually get out. Because I haven't, here's another funny thing, because I haven't had time to market myself. I've never made ads. I've never had a website. Mm-hmm. Everything just happens. People see my work. They reach out to me. They like, and I network organically, not online. Yep. So I've never gave a fuck about my my social presence or the follower accounts or whatever. Yep. I just get so much work by doing the right things that I haven't had the time to market myself. But I have this little fear that maybe what if something happens to my biggest clients, what will I do then? So that's when I kind of, that mind shift clicked, and I knew I have to start, like, even if I'm doing fine right now career-wise, I still have to start making that content so I can survive if something would ever happen.
So that's a really smart play, and I'm similar in a lot of ways. So I have a website now. I launched a website last year when I started my own business, like a new agency, so completely new business model. I launched a website, and I went pretty hard in the paint to make sure it was good. But I haven't touched it since it launched. Like it hasn't got me any work as far as I know. It's more so like if you were to Google me, it's a good place. Like I have all video testimonials from all my biggest clients and stuff like that. So if you really want to get an idea of like who I am, what I'm like to work with, like all that's there, and I don't need to really think of it. But similarly, like I use my social as my way to have any sort of outreach. But you mentioned something that is funny. Ever since I bought that Canon So like when we're traveling, as you can imagine on these courses, like you can't post a lot, like just in terms of like what's happening. So I always look for like weird, ominous things, and abandoned schools are fucking great for that, for like artsy kind of shit. But I've always used an iPhone because we're shooting Black Magic or DJI, and the photo quality is not there really. But ever since I got the Canon, I cannot take a picture with my phone. Now all I see is the difference in quality, where like, again, we're doing this concealed carry package, and it was a situation where I only had my phone on me, and I like started framing it up, and I was like, the R5's like 50 feet away from me. Like, just go run over, grab it, take the exact same photo. Cause it's like, well, now we've set the standard for quality where it's like, well, why would I jump 18 steps back now? Like it's so funny that once you get locked in, you're kind of locked in. But along those same lines, sorry, I was just gonna say like my social thing, because I'm good with stories, bad with hard posts. It's like after one really big gig, I'll usually post it, and it's usually a hockey tournament I do. And now what I'm gonna start doing, what's today, the 2nd? Tomorrow morning is the monthly photo dumps, is what I'm challenging myself with, is like go through my phone Rolodex, take 10 of the best shots that show what I've done. Because similar to you, it's like there's so much stuff I work on. Like no one knows I did anything with the firefighters this week. No one knows I did the soccer media day thing, like unless you saw that story that was up of just a picture of a soccer ball. Like, so it's I need to take the time to be like, hey, like I do things. Like, you know what I mean? Like unless you're going to my client's page and seeing the work. And so for me, like my solution to that is like, I am like beginning of every month post stills from the previous month. And like, that's going to be my like, all right, here you go. And now I can take the rest of the month off kind of thing.
Oh yeah. I think going back to what I said earlier is one of those things that technology has to be an enabler, right? So that's why I shoot on the Fuji, because the same thing happened to me as well. And actually, the FX30 takes great pictures. Like no client has ever said anything about that camera's quality, and it's like 26 megapixels.
I thought it was even less. I thought it was 12.
No,
maybe
FX3
I'm thinking FX3. Yeah, the FX3. Sorry,
that has like 26 megapixels, so it takes great photos. I shoot hybrid on an FX30. I do like clothing brand shoots on that, which is totally, you're not meant to use that camera for that, but I'm doing it, and nobody's ever.
Can I don't mean to interrupt, but like two things, two little side stories I'll give you that have to do with this, where like the what it's supposed to be used for is like, during COVID, I was with our football team, and I was the only exterior staff allowed with the players for the entire season because it was COVID, right? So I had to do all the team headshots. I had to do our media day assets, everything. I did all the team's headshots on a Panasonic GH5. So that was what I was shooting on at the time. And it's just like, you could be like, oh, it's, that's, I think, a 12 megapixel camera too, maybe 16. And it's like, if you light correctly, no one's going to see a player headshot and be like, I think that's an FX30 or whatever. Like, no one's going to call that shit out. It's like, you're good enough at your craft that it's like, it's just a tool. Like I was saying this to this young shooter I met this week, great kid. And, I was like, we were talking cameras, and he was asking what I was shooting. I was like, dude, my most viewed individual shot was for a CBS sports ad they broadcast the CFL in the United States. And it was from my first season with the team on a GH5 in low light, following the players out of the tunnel with the fireworks and stuff going on. But it's like, but if I wrote down my camera specs and like low light Panasonic GH5 handheld, you'd be like, there's no way you got a usable shot. And it's like, it's what opened this ad campaign for CBS Sports that was seen by Howard. But because it just worked. It was a good shot. It didn't matter what it was shot on. Like, but we do, as an industry, we have that problem where it's like, well, it's got to be used. No. You can use whatever for whatever. Yeah.
And I mean, what really matters is then again, like what's happening in front of the lens. And I think that is like, you can fix a lot of stuff with lighting, story, the subject, whatever you're doing. And at the end of the day, it's just a tool. And at the end of the day, like the majority of people, especially young people who are starting out, and I won't give this advice to anybody who's like interested in this, because I'm sure there's also like some young people who will listen and figure out if they'd make also in this scene, is that technology is advancing at such a fast level, and there's like everything is great. Like even your phone is great to start on.
Yep.
And like I was said, with like technology being an enabler, I just like whatever works for you needs to be fast. Like you need to be able to just do it. So when I was shooting like photos with that camera, like FX30, I had the issue like friends wanted to take photos if we're at an event or something, and they're like, hey, can you take a photo? Sure. But then I have to transfer it to my computer, and then I have to edit it, and then I have to get a Google Drive folder or whatever and forward it to you. Yep. And it just takes time, and it's not worth it, and you don't enjoy the process. But with something like the Fuji, when like you have the film emulations, you shoot JPEGs and you transfer it to your phone like instantly. That's when it like still is fun again. You can enjoy the process, and it's not too much bandwidth from your either professional work or like too much, you know, like it's not too much effort to take it. You'd gladly take the photo, and you'll gladly do the shoots and like the extra steps.
Yep.
And I think that is all like that sums up the whole. I think the conversation we've been having is that you have to kind of have that tech head in you if you want to be in this field, because there are ways to make stuff work. Like you can't put limits to yourself. Like I can't take the photos. Oh, this camera is too bad, or this and that on paper.
Yep.
When there are ways you can like get through everything. Like whether it's a technical thing, there are so many different solutions you just have to look for. Or then if you want to be creative, there are many different solutions other than just the one expensive thing they've taught or think you can't afford, because there are multiple ways of approaching this. And that's one of the main things I really love about our field, is that, like, you know, if you have an idea, you don't have to get stuck at the perfect idea. You just have to start building that sandcastle and seeing like whatever you had will get you to those same heights. Eventually, you'll just have to figure it out, but it's possible.
Dude, I have nothing to add to that. That was the perfect thing. I want to like, I was going to show you like one of my favorite things, like you're talking about the Fuji, is like this Canon. It's like, to your point, it's like this hooks up to my cell phone now. Like that's where we're at. Like 46 megapixel images, and they'll be on my cell phone in 30 seconds. I drop them into Lightroom. I throw whatever emulation I want on it, and then it's on Instagram. Like, that's awesome.
There we go.
Like you can't beat where technology's at right now. It's so dope.
Oh yeah. And especially, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a side thing. Well, one thing is because a lot of people ask me like, hey, why don't you shoot on the FX3, or why don't you shoot on this and that? And sometimes also the best tools are the ones you can afford. And that's why I've been shooting like on the FX30 when I started, and like I knew it's a cheaper body and it's a cheaper lenses are going to be cheaper if they're like crop sensors, and I'll just have to figure out the rest. Like it's going to be hard in like some different lighting scenarios, but that's a thing I had to trade off for the thing that I can afford, and I get to start doing it. And I've shot like complete documentaries and all kinds of crazy stuff on that. And like, that's what I love to say. Like I have FX30 that has seen maybe the craziest life ever another FX3 has ever seen. So don't also never let a budget be the limiting factor.
No,
at the end of the day, it's just a tool.
And this is old man Josh speaking, but like I had this conversation with one of my colleagues recently. He's a little bit older than me too, and we started around the same time. And I think exactly what you're saying is a huge benefit. And I think depending on when you're starting is a huge benefit, because when I started in video, it was DSLRs. It was super shaky sensors. You were shooting like in 12-minute chunks, whatever, no autofocus, no nothing. And so hand-holding was hard. You had to get super proficient with with manual focus. And so now we live in a day and age where if someone handed me a 7D, like I'm doing that Media Day shoot, and someone hands me a Canon 7D and says, hey, you can't use we shot on a fucking red Raptor, but if they're like, hey, you can't use your red, you got to use a Canon 7D, I can still do the same thing. Like that technology is not going to limit me, because to your much earlier point about pushing your cameras and your tech to the absolute limit so you learn how to push and pull, like yeah, I can do anything I'm doing today on the Canon, on the Blackmagic, on a Red, I can do on a 7D from 20 years ago. You can strip away all these layers of technological advancement, and I'm still going to be able to do the same thing because you're still lighting the same. You're still going to shoot the same. If you've developed hard skills on hand-holding properly and learning how to manual focus moving objects within reason, it's like, cool. Like, okay, different platform. Might not look the same blown up to 4K, but like, that's about it. Like, everything's going to be fine. Like, so... Again, going back to the whole arrow in your quiver thing, it's like you can shoot anything on a piece of shit, and as long as you know the basics are squared away, you'll be fine.
Yeah, totally,
and there are no pieces of shit right now. Just to be ultra clear to your point, every fucking camera as someone who just bought a new camera, I've looked at every camera on the market at almost every level. Everything is good. Everything is good.
Oh yeah. And I get a lot of people like who want to get into this subject and like, hey, what camera should I get? I'm like, what's your budget? And they say like something crazy like 300 euros. I'm like, shoot on your phone. That's 1,000.
Yes.
Like, you know, the quality is there. All this extra stuff. I don't know if you can see it. I
can't see it in my frame. I see the map box.
Wait, hold on. I'll get it in the view. So I have my FX30 rig here just to show it, and
oh yeah. Ooh,
there we go. So I was shooting an indie film with this setup right here, and all the connectors are not connected right now, but I have the FX30 there. I got the Laowa nanomorph zoom anamorphic 1.5.
Yeah,
I got the DJI LiDAR system there for autofocus, and Atomos Ninja as the monitor, and then I got the DJI SDR transmitters and a huge small rig battery that's like the
let's go
212 maybe, and then the Ceramonic K9s. And like I say, like, you don't need any of this extra stuff. Like, the image is created with the frame and the lens, but all this extra stuff is to make my life easier and
exactly
not so annoying. And the reason I'd go for an FX6 or something bigger after this is that it makes my life easier, but the image quality will maybe not change at all. You wouldn't know if I've shot it on a phone or if I've shot it with this, but I will know if I've had a good day or a bad day.
Man, it all, honestly, when you get to a level, it really just comes down to like what your personal preference is in terms of image quality, not quality, sorry, in image look and feel. Like, so for me, coming off Sony, I liked it for anything sports, and then I didn't like it for anything people. And the only reason I say that is because I could tell that it was a Sony, and it was just like clinically sharp, and I kept using dehancer to just try and strip away sharpness, and I wasn't loving it. And then one of my colleagues turned me on to a Blackmagic, and he sent me a video he was working on, and I was like, this looks fucking gorgeous. Like, what is this shot? Everything's so soft and creamy. And he's like, oh, it's Blackmagic. And I literally, like, we finished a job together, and I went out and bought two 6Ks. I was like, yeah, okay, this is what I want. And I love them. I mean, it's my main studio camera. I fucking love the softness of the image is my favorite thing. And even with the Canon, like picking up the Canon, I got that because I like, there's a softness to it, which is a personal preference. Like, again, like I was saying, I was looking at the FX9 because doing this ENG stuff, prices are kind of dipping because I think they're going to come out with a new FX6 and a new FX9 relatively soon. Yeah. And like, it's such a nice package. And again, if I start doing a lot more ENG stuff and a lot more news gathering stuff, then I might just say fuck it, because I need that clinical sharpness. I need that super clean image. Whereas now I can kind of get away with a little bit of a dirty, less sharp image, which is awesome. But man, everything is so good. Like, everything is so goddamn good right now. It's hilarious. It's the best time to want to buy a camera and the most frustrating time for that exact reason.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And I'm even guilty of the clinical sharpness. I don't really like it. Also the color, like the Sony colors aren't always there, especially if you're shooting indoors with some like office lighting or whatever, like sometimes it makes the skin tones so bad I have no way to fix them. I kind of hate it at that time. But then again, like I like having that sharper image that I can then later soften. But
100%.
I'm not stuck with like a soft image that I can't sharpen too much. But
yes.
I slept by like black mist on almost all of my stuff because I kind of like the same dirty, softer look. And if there would be an even softer, like I know the kind of clinicless you're talking about. So if there would be like even lesser than an 1/8 of black mist, I'd use
like
that.
a 16th or something.
Yeah, I'd use that all the time because even the 1/8 is a little too much at times.
So it's funny. I when I got my Black Magics, having used the mist filters previously, without thinking, I just bought the quarters like again for the new Canon lenses I got, and I was just like, yeah, done, no problem. And if it's not outside and I'm stopped down on like a good amount, like anything over like 5, I would say, it's so goddamn soft. Like if you miss so big. Like it's not an aim small, miss small thing. It's just like, oh, it's slightly out of focus. Like, no big deal. A little sharpening, no one will notice. It's like you throw that Pro Mist filter on top, you're like, oof, like that's really questionable now. And so like I've had to stop using them, and now I just do it in dehancer, like just that extra kind of mood. But I miss using them. Like I haven't used it on the Canon yet. But on my Black Magics, I had to stop because I was like, if I was off by a little bit, like it was a lot of bit. Like
yeah.
Very unforgiving.
And then also if you, even though I have like black mist filters, but sometimes if you're shooting like direct sunlight and the colors get all washed out, that's when I started to notice it. And people were commented that on some of my material, like, hey, what does this look so gray? I'm like, oh, it's the sunlight. Wouldn't dare to say that it's the filter. That was kind of, it was funny. Because I had a UV filter, then the, oh no, wait, which way was it? No, I had the black mist there first, then I had a UV protective filter, then I had another filter that is kind of like the adapter for the tilt-up matte box.
Yep.
So then you can imagine once I tightened all that together, the black mist, that was stuck on there. So I was stuck for like a couple of years. It would not come off. On every project, they had to have that same black mist. And nobody complained.
So funny.
But it created some issues, and then before this TV shoot, I knew I have to get it off. And I learned a great trick, by the way, for anybody
Is it
listening.
the
Do you know
fridge?
how to get? No. What?
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I put them in the fridge.
So that no, but in the Arctic, it wouldn't. Minus 40 was not enough to get it off. But I found out if you have a mouse pad that has rubber on the other side.
Yep.
So they don't slide. You turn your mouse pad upside down, and then you put your lens on top of that, and then you screw. It will come off. Oh, which is insane because I would have not believed it. But that thing was stuck there for like 2 years. I had tried all the tools, like those like filter wrenches or whatever, to take it off. Nothing worked. I was like, it could have been welded down there. But I tried the mouse pad thing, and it came out no issues. And it had been stuck for like a couple of years.
I'll try that next time. Like I used to get that at least twice a season with variable NDs. Shooting football, because at a field level, it'd get like plus 60, like plus 55, plus 60, depending on the days, like in July. And, you're getting ready in the locker room, whatever, you twist it on, you don't think anything of it, then it expands. And then it's like, oh my God, this is not coming off. This is a serious goddamn problem. Like, what is happening? But my go-to was always sticking in the fridge for a half an hour. Metals constrict, pops right off. No problem. That was always my goal.
Wow, I'll have to try that if I ever run into the issue.
If you get stuck and you have the time, like it that's what's always worked for me. But I didn't try the mouse pad thing. I just remember being just terrified because it was not moving, and I was like, I have ruined a very expensive lens, and this is gonna live with an ND filter on it forever now. I was like, no,
the same.
That's crazy. All right, dude, I have kept you for over 3 hours now, which is hilarious because I could just talk to you all fucking day. Like, you're the man. Okay, so before I'll brief you on like basically what'll happen is I'll stop recording, and then it just needs to upload on your end.
Yeah,
and you can just keep the window.
There.
Like we can leave the call. You just need to leave the window open, and then when it gets to 100, you can close the window and stuff like that. But we'll do an official send off here, man. I seriously can't thank you enough for the time, because 3 hours is a lot, and it's what, 8 o'clock your time, 8 p.m. your time.
9. We moved to summertime, so
9. Man, oh snap, summertime. That's a whole other conversation. It's crazy. It's snow. There's still snow on the ground here. We are not in summertime here. Dude, thank you so much. We definitely have to do this again, like in a couple months or something like that, and just like catch up on stuff and I want to hear what kind of crazy shit you're working on, or if you're playing any shows, you got any new music out or anything like that. Like, I want to hear about it.
I have, the next couple of months are going to be absolutely crazy. We'll continue shooting the TV series. Then I'll take a trip to America to film a couple of projects.
Oh.
And then we'll have our shows next fall. But there's a whole lot. We have an album coming, and I'm getting as busier all the time. So definitely, whenever you want to catch up again, I'm down, because I'm sure I'll have stories to tell.
Fuck yeah! Can you say where in the States you're going?
So I think I'll try, and I was gonna do it so that it's like a vacation, but I don't know how to stop, so I've booked already 3 shoots for that vacation. But I'll be going around the Rocky Mountains. I want to go to Utah, Idaho, then what's it, Wyoming, something.
Yeah.
Go around the Rocky Mountains, because I have to film some drone shots around there, and I got some couple other shoots coming up. So I'll be there in later in June.
That's awesome. Yeah. I've been to Utah. I've been to Salt Lake City. It's gorgeous. If you like mountains, it's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to see. I just want to see the mountains.
Hell yeah. Well, dude, thank you again so much. You're the best. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, likewise. It's been a really pleasure. And it's always so fun nerding out about these kinds of stuff with like-minded people, because sometimes I'm stuck with clients or friends who don't understand anything about this. So it's been a relief to kind of let this all out.
Good therapy session. We have a good therapy session about shit.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.